Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
All right, all right, all right. Ooh.
The east is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. 721 the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went, the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
Who will rise up or who would stand up? Let's get it. 94:16.
The Lord is calling back his right hand. Gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us.
At gunpoint.
Together our wives and children sold us.
In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A higher gather us. Whoa. Our highest calling back Israel. Oh, ooh, yeah. Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, that's who we be, we be. That's right, Judah, and we're back. Someone say this dude is singing. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel. Hey, all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya Warawak. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church, singing the praises of the Most High. Okay, here tonight with our broadcast. That's right, we have by my side Elder Lawya. And one of the songs for the project, Music with a Purpose, Elder Lawya is actually narrating the Lord's Prayer behind some very, 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 very soothing and relaxing music. And yes, we are praising the Most High and not ashamed about it or of it. Okay?
That's right.
That's right. I thank the Most High that He's given me, the works of my hands, okay, and the power of my voice to exalt Him in every means I've been blessed with. And I thank the Most High for it, right? Because He only give us the work of our hands to actually glorify Him. It tells us that in Ecclesiastes. So if someone think it's wrong for us praising the Most High or singing to the Most High, well, then you haven't read that Bible. And make that clear. For years, Satan have been using our people and our gifts and our musics to exalt and to promote debauchery, evil, wickedness. And it seems as if, if we do what's right, we're still criticized, right? So what difference does it make? If we don't do it, it's why you're not doing it. If we do it, it's you shouldn't be doing it. Well, that's why I'm so glad that I'm free to serve the Most High in spirit and in truth, in spite of any criticism. It really rolls off of me, mind you. Any gift the Most High have given me, I will exalt his name to wake his people up. I'll become all things to all men that I can gain a few. As long as that door is before all of my works, regardless of whether or not I'm singing or teaching or just speaking to someone randomly on the street. As long as that interaction leads to our people critically thinking, leading their minds back and their hearts back to the Most High, guess what? It's all good. And even, hey, if I'm ridiculed, okay, I'd rather be ridiculed for praising the Most High. Okay? If I'm looked down upon or smited or hurt or whatever the case is, as long as I'm glorifying the Most High in it, it's all good. That's right. And hey, if you don't like singing, you're on the wrong page. Okay? Because I'm going to sing praise to the Most High. And you know what? It's going to be us on the outside of Babylon singing when the saints come marching in. And I'm not talking about the fake saints either. Like the Catholic saints, those demons they put up to be saints. No, I'm talking about real life saints. Saints are who? God's people. So it'll be us singing those praises when the saints come marching in. And speaking of that, right? That's a perfect segue into our conversation this evening. Make sure you hit that like button. I have a lot of announcements, a lot of stuff to go through, a lot to talk about this evening. And of course, we're going to open up these lines to hear your input on these particular points or these points of conversation. Hit that like button. Come on in. All right. Hey, Elder Lawya, talk to me. What's going on, young man?
Hey, sir. I mean, what's not going on in these last days? I mean,
yeah.
Either you are, turning on your YouTube, your news, whatever the case may be, you're hearing different things rumbling in the earth.
Yeah.
And it just brings it to our reality. All the things we've been teaching and all the things we've been going through for years, bringing forth this word are now coming to pass. And, we give praise and honor to the Most High to see that these things are actually coming to fruition because we understand they must for our salvation, for our freedom. So we give all praise and honor to the Most High for that. But man, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff that you want to touch on tonight. That
and I have some people in here. Of course, if the trolls want to come in and say something, come on in, hit the like button or the dislike button. It doesn't matter. Drive traffic, it's fine. Mm-hmm. They're saying, well, hold up now. Their children are dying and women are being kidnapped. Yeah, you're right. So what are you doing on our chat here? Go out and do what you got to do for those people you're concerned about. Mm-hmm. We're doing our part. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're doing our part to help save our people. So if you feel your hair is on fire and you need to go out and do something real quick, get off your computer and go help those children you're talking about and those women you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Okay, right. It's not upon me to do what's on your heart. Mm-hmm. Okay, if that's your ministry to go out and find some people that are kidnapped and all that, what you doing on the chat for? Shalom, peace. Go find some people. All right, we're doing our part to help many people who are suffering, widows, women that are suffering out there, brothers and sisters who are hurting out there. That's what the church is for. Our doors are open, so we're doing our part to open our doors for those who are suffering. Okay, don't put your burden on us. We have enough work. Or come join us to help those kidnapped women and children that are being kidnapped. All right, and if you would like, send an email to gatheringas1@AOL.com to join the ministry. Now, let's jump right in here. All right. You have a lot of so-called happy Halloween but out there right now. But you know what? I don't want to talk about that right now. We all know that that's We're going into Satan's favorite time of the year. As the leaves fall, so does the world. Halloween, then Thanksgiving, a celebration for killing the North American Indians and slaughtering them, and thanking Satan for drinking their blood and killing the children of the saints who are already in America. And then after that, it's a segue into Christmas, which we know is a satanic holiday, and worshiping Semiramis and Nimrod and Tammuz, ancient Babylonian deities, Satan at the pinnacle, which have nothing to do with Jesus Christ or Christ, right? So we all know. You can find all those videos on our webpage. If you want to find out about the satanic Christmas that Christians have been covering up for years, okay? Straight Christian Satanists have been straight using Christ's name and the Bible as the vehicle to carry their satanic water. Okay, like Christmas, like Sunday worship, on and on and on and on and on and on. You have Christians coming out of the woodwork excusing their debauchery and evil practices of paganism, right? My question is, right, and I'm going to segue into this. What's wrong with just reading the Bible and following it?
Good question.
Right? Instead of me looking at the Bible and saying, well, let me find out the areas I have grace to sin on purpose at. What scriptures can excuse my wickedness and sin? I'll search the Bible for that, to excuse wickedness. But yet, I won't go into the Bible, look at the law, and follow it. Weird, isn't it? So many of our pastors and preachers out there that are delusional, right? And I'm going to say it, that's what they are. Because even Paul wrote about that strong delusion that they may believe a lie. So I'm not being condescending when I say delusional. The Bible calls it believing in a strong delusion. They'll look at the Bible and say, hold up, I'm covered under grace. I'm under grace and not under the law. I'm like, well, okay. I hear what you're saying. You're under grace, but not under the law. Okay, let's go over a few laws and tell me, right? Because what they'll tell you, Christ blotted out the law and they're under grace. Okay, good. Did he blot out thou shalt not kill? That's in the law. Thou shalt not steal. That's in the law. So do you cherry pick which laws you uphold in your churches? Right? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Are you under grace to commit adultery on purpose and be covered by Christ's blood? Huh? That's not too far from thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Are you under grace to lie on everyone? And is that covered through Christ's blood? So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. And that's why so many people are standing up or walking away altogether from Christianity. Not that the Bible isn't true. The blatant, upfront hypocrisy that's being exhibited by those who claim to believe in God is the clear reason why most people are just walking away from it altogether. It's not the Bible. When you read the Bible is clear, the judgment, against unrighteousness. It's clear. It's written. It's not the Bible. It's so many people who claim to follow God and be holy out front, disrespecting the laws of God and showing forth an evil example of what a holy person is publicly. Right? But I digress, right? We're not here to talk about that. We're here to celebrate. That's right. We're here to celebrate, brothers and sisters. And not, you're right, you got it right. And not Halloween. Celebrate. We're here to celebrate this evening. And brothers and sisters, we need you all to celebrate with us. 515-6059-327. What are we celebrating, one might ask? No, we're not sending out our children dressed like ghouls and goblins and out there in the spirit of possession and demon worship,
a day we call Halloween, which is the Satan's Sabbath. Not that celebrating, okay? We are to celebrate what the Most High is doing with our people all over the earth. And it doesn't matter whether or not they have come to the full understanding. We'll all get there together, okay? But you must be on the other side of an alternate universe not to recognize the fact that God is doing something with our people. They may not know their Israel all the way. They may not have the understanding, but our people are looking around Lawya and saying, you know what, something is up. We've been lied to.
Right.
Churches have been set up to keep something from us. It's more so in the way. Religion have been what you would call a form of control to keep us from realizing who we are and what our purpose is. Right? And guess what? There's a lot of people waking up, folks. And I like to celebrate that because it's the hands of God. And I'm not just talking about just everyday people. I'm talking about the people of influence. Right? You have Kanye wife the other day. What's her name? Kim Kardashian, the no talent woman that's running around that got rich off of absolutely nothing. I guess she got rich and famous off of some video with Ray J or something. I mean, how one get popular today, huh?
Lord have mercy.
Her claim to fame was what? But anyway, speaking of Halloween, Kim Kardashian had something to say on Kanye West not taking his meds the other day. See, these medications, these meds are the next level of control when you begin to wake up and understand that this reality we live in is a controlled reality. So that's another when you break from your religious psychosis such as Christianity or Islam, and when you start to realize that everything they've told us is a lie, then they claim that you have mental health issues and look to put controllers in your sphere, in your areas, to control you through what? Psychotropics, medication. Well, he's off his meds right now. Right? So, I mean, this dude, listen, this guy need to check this. He need to put her in check. Straight out. He's saying that no one control me. I'm here to serve the living God. I live for Christ. And now she's on the other hand, when he was talking about all types of evil and wickedness, right? And degradation. And when he said he's a monster and all these things, holding blood and heads in his hand and sleeping next to corpses on his video. You know, totally normal. There was nothing psychologically wrong when he was making videos about saying that he's a monster, a ghoul, a goblin, and walking around with dead people and all this stuff and sleeping with dead corpse. Not once did she come online anywhere and say, well, he has a mental issue problem. Only when he's looking to live for Christ. Right? Something else is going on, and I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating this, and I have a few clips to go over with you all. I'm celebrating this. Praise the Most High. There's a guy, right? There's a guy by the name of Bishop George Bloomer, right? He was on the Roland Martin show a few days ago. And a matter of fact, I have a few clips. Of course, I can't play the clips in its entirety, but what I can do is show the picture and have you hear the audio. Well, he's been the Pied Piper or the black face of black Christian, the black Christian ministry over millions of people and billions of dollars for a few decades now, right? And now he's standing up against Kevin Adele, a Jewish controller over the so-called Word Network, right? So now black pastors now are denouncing their controllers. All this is happening at the same time as God has begun to awaken the children of Israel, God's people. At the same time, and listen, not that I agree with all of these guys and what they do in their personal life. I don't know them personally, but I have to celebrate a phenomenon in the earth when our people are beginning to break free. These are the same anomalous behaviors that was going on right before the children of Israel was freed from the hands of the Egyptians, where we no longer feared our oppressor, knowing that God would stand for us. We would stand on the God of Israel, and through that faith in him, begin to lose fear of our oppressors. Kirk Franklin came out the other day and denounced some award show and say, listen, y'all have censored my word. I'm using my platform to talk about how cops and all that are killing our people, and you've censored me. You've cut my speech when I've worked to be able to say what I'm saying. I've paid my dues. And he says, then he stood for an all-out boycott and said, I will never go on your shows again. Let me tell you, you take the Kirk Franklins away. You take the Bishop George Bloomers away, these black pastors away. The Pied Pipers, who have always been the handlers over our people, you move them away, and then you'll find out who's really controlling, who have been controlling our people since the slave ships. And we're going to talk about that today, because guess what? They're panicking. They're losing on every level. And they don't and guess what? There's nothing they can do. Our people are standing up. They're no longer fearing the oppressor. And it comes down to this. Pharaoh, you better let our people go. Okay? The more you oppress us, the more you incarcerate us, the more people are going to wake up. And I'm not speaking of the regular people. I'm talking about the children. This aim towards gender bending and destroying the minds of the children and trying to have them think that there's something other than they are. We know that's orchestrated. Why? Because there's nothing you can do about these children who are waking up free from mental bondage and slavery. There's nothing you can do about it. Now I'm gonna let you in real quick, Elder Lawya, but it's a few things I wanted to say, right? Mm-hmm. Get back to Kanye West. All of a sudden, Big Boy done turned into Dr. Phil.
Right.
He's psychoanalyzing a scenario as if he's some type of psychiatrist. I'm like, this is Big Boy here. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you, Kanye West had this dude for lunch. Okay, but I'm gonna go through that in a minute. I love to go online and find out what's going on and keep my ear to the ground, because it's there you can see the quaking, the changing the Most High is doing on a grassroots level beyond their control. That's where you can see it at, right? I read also an article not too long ago where this UK editor was talking about Kanye West's anti-abortion rhetoric. Now let me make it clear. Kanye West was fine when he was talking and when he was degrading our women, when he was laying with corpse in videos and speaking of all types of evil and wickedness, when he was under total control of a Zionist regime, a syndicate, right? Check it out. The only thing he said was abortion is murder. That's all he said. How is Kanye West wrong standing for the birth of children? Why do he need medication? But if you are for the progressive democratic talking point, you're normal. If you're okay with this new way of being where you can be any type of sexual outside of normal, right? Father, mother, man, woman, you know the two that come together that God made that actually bring forth children. Mm-hmm. If you're for that, you're totally sane and have it together. If you're for the protection of children. So what Kanye West was saying is, I don't care about really Trump personally, but when you can compare, if you compare what his party stands for, mm-hmm. and I'm being one who believe in Christ, and what our party stand for feminism, the separation of family, the killing of babies. This has nothing to do with Trump. It has something to do with morality. Why are black people connected to a party with such evil connotation connected with it? Why are we connected? Why are we voting to say it's okay to kill our own babies and we saying we have the right to do that? Why are they tying that unlawful practice with us? So he's speaking rational and the whole world saying he's crazy, right? The whole world says he's crazy. But guess what? The whole world thought Christ was crazy. The whole world thought Moses. The Most High sent Moses in Egypt with a stick and he freed God's people. Check that out. Imagine Christ goes into the wilderness, Lawya, mm-hmm. to fast and pray 40 days and 40 nights, separated from everyone, to get a proper perspective, to get totally spiritually fueled for this mission, to free God's people, to be that sacrifice that would one day liberate our minds from Gentile satanic control. Now, he could have been going through many things for that 40 days and 40 nights. There was no shaving going on. Of course, he was near the rivers where he could bath and all that. Totally being separated from the world, getting a clear perspective amongst the celestial for his mission. If Christ was walking today with that same perspective, being separated from the world, having a proper perspective through God, he would be deemed mentally ill in our society. Would he not? Huh? So I'm here to celebrate today. Call us crazy. Call us a cult. Let me tell you, call us what you would like. But you know what? That's a badge of honor, being called anything negative from those who are celebrating and upholding a wicked world. That's a badge of honor. Because if they hate us, Christ said, remember, they hated me first. It's a badge of honor. I'm so glad the world isn't accepting us. I would think something was wrong if the world was accepting this truth. Mm-hmm. Right? 515, I'm celebrating tonight. 515-605-9327. We're celebrating the fall of Babylon, the destruction of Satan's kingdom. All right? And the rise of the children of Israel, God's people. Hey, the first thing I wanted to bring in real quick, right? The mystery of the Bible is revealed now. And the true people of God is now standing up. Blessed are the eyes that can see and the ears that hear the truth in this long-awaited prophetic time. Conversations and networking. I'm speaking of conversations with this truth, is being censored on an all-time high level. Yet we're rising. So I want to talk about it all. They're censoring. They're trying to stop people. They're blocking people. They're doing all types. They sending trolls. They sending Zionist bootlegs, Jesuit vermins. They sending Christian Gentiles called apologists who don't need to apologize. You need to go sit their behinds down somewhere. Man, they're sending everything, but yet we as a people are rising. They've incarcerated us, separated our families, have killed our children, but yet we are rising. Something else is going on. Sisters are standing up. Sisters are protecting their children. And guess what I'm seeing? On an all-time high level. Check this out. Sisters are coming back to their men. Men are beginning to stand up. Not at the rate we would all like, or at the rate that we would like to see, but it's happening. Woo! You can't stop this. I have some stuff for you tonight, folks. This is why I'm celebrating. All right? Lord, Lord, Lord. Man. About a decade ago, Elder Lawya.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2011. When you round it off, it's about a decade. We put out a video that was titled The Truth About King James. Over 1 million views. Now check out this particular video, Elder Lawya. Right? Check out this video. There was no focusing on other races of people. We were just focusing on the truth of King James according to history. To tear down the character assassination that was actually put out there by the Jesuits to discredit King James. It was just ironic that out of all of British royalty and English royalty, there was no defense for King James like it is for Prince Charles or the Queen of England. There was no, if you say one thing in England publicly against the monarchy or against the throne, okay, there's a threat of incarceration almost immediately in England. But yet there was no defense for King James with all the negative history that was actually put out there by the Roman Catholic Church. They were claiming he was a homosexual. He had sex with his mother. All these things which are historically incorrect. But yet you have never seen a campaign financed by the British royalty or the English to defend King James' honor. So right there, that was an alarming thing for me in studying King James. I'm like, there must be something they're not telling us, because if he was Caucasian, if he was a part of the European power structure, they would paint him in the same light as George Washington or Benjamin Franklin, them Satanists that they'll never write any negative history against. Everyone know that Ben Franklin was a part of the Hellfire Club, but yet you can't find no negative history out there, European history against Ben Franklin, Thomas Paine. These were known Satanists, occultists. So all throughout history, they defend Europeans in high positions, but yet King James was the outliner. He was the one that out of all of the people to be protected, they're going to just leave him dangling out there by himself as this homosexual who had sex with his mother and all this other negative. And then they come to find out that all the lies that was put out there, the historical records that were put out there, were records that came through Ignatius Loyola and other Roman apologists to defame him. He was one of the original Protestants against the Roman Catholic evil church. And it so happened, check this out, he was 100% black. So what I did was I put out a video bringing out the history of the Dark Ages, showing King James' true history, how many children he had, how many languages he spoke, his wife, his family, all of that. I just chronologized it in history in one lesson that I'm going to teach again in this academy in detail. And don't you know, Lawya, out of nowhere, 3 years ago, they made it where the video wasn't allowed to be seen on YouTube in England. Only thing I did was defend the British monarchy, King James. Why would you block the information, the truth of King James, from England and don't allow those in England to see it? On top of that, we chronologize the history to show you that he, in the preface of the Bible, said that he's doing this in total opposition of the Antichrist establishment of Rome. And he had to haste to bring scholars together, knowing that the Roman Catholic Church was going to look to distort the book. And he said in the preface that he's doing this for Zion, that he's standing and have this book translated so it can help us in the last days come back to the Most High, right? And on top of that, I had unrefuted records from England to prove that King James was 100% black. We're going to teach it in this academy. I'm not just talking about this book, folks. When you go into England, it's no question amongst the historians, King James persuasion amongst the historians. There's no question that he was a black man, 100%. But then they'll try to claim, well, how could he be in charge at the same time slavery was going on? Folks, they have lied on every level about slavery. There were free black slaves in America the same time there were slaves in America. The slaves had the paperwork to prove that they were property. Benjamin Banneker, the one who designed Washington, D.C., he was black. He was a free man. So every black person during that period wasn't a slave. Okay. So they censored, Elder Lawya, the video. The video where it couldn't be seen in England. And then not too long ago, when they came up with the new YouTube rules after Google purchased YouTube, they struck that video, which was strictly history, chronologizing history, pointing to the liars against King James. Now, we were just defending British royalty, but they struck that as hate speech. To the degree in which I told Anthony, a brother that works with us in the DMV, I told him to make the video private until we realize what we're going to do with the video. It was so profound that they just said, it's too much truth. It's just hate speech. Even though it's history that can't be refuted, it's hate speech. Let me show you one of the pictures that was on the video of King James. Check this out. I want y'all to see this, folks. Right? Hold on a second. Let me pull this up for you. Right? I'm going to put it up in here so you can see it. Right? See that picture? You know what? That's not good enough for you, is it? Check this out. Who's that, folks? Woo! Is that hate speech right there? That's a Hebrew. Jacobus. Right? That's King James, folks. That's King James. This is why they lied and claimed he was a homosexual. He had sex with his mother. This is why later they look to discredit the King James Version and give you a satanic NIV because they had nothing to do with the authorization of the King James, which clearly points out Christ himself as a black man in the Bible. Huh? What? Huh? And what they did was they began to whitewash other images and put it up and say, there go King James right there. There's nothing to see here. He was a white homosexual. Knowing that if they can discredit the king who spoke many languages and sat on 3 thrones at once, France, Ireland, and Great Britain. That's right. The Irish people that say that, well, there was Irish slaves too. Yes, it was. When y'all began to take us down after the death of the Protestants, which were black people, we were protesting the Roman Empire. And you begin to enslave black Irishmen and women. Oh, yeah. I even got a book showing proof of the bill of sale of the black people that were taken from different places into St. Thomas, into the West Indies, and all that, who were Jews. And guess what? It's documented that they were black Jews by the slave sellers, with the bill of sales. I have it. I have proof that the expulsion of 1490 of the 1400s by Queen Isabella, that it said, documented in the expulsion, that they were expelling black Spaniards from Spain who were Jews. I have the record. Did I not go over that in the academy this Sunday, Elder Lawya? Mm-hmm. We brought the proof out in the academy last Sunday. Right? Hold up now. Y'all thought we only had this, right? King James, a black man, and you know he black. Look how fly he is. Look, you can't pull this off and not be Jake. You can't pull off nothing like that and not be a black man. You can imagine a European with something like this on. Are you kidding me? He's styling and profiling. Okay? Tom Cruise couldn't do this. John Travolta can't do this, okay? He can't pull this off. Huh? I got some information to go into. Right? So I need y'all to hold tight because I have some quotes from Kanye West, from pastors who are standing up. But before we go there, I'm going to break open the Bible to let you know that you are a part, our people, you are prophecy. The seals have been broken that was written of in Daniel. Knowledge have increased. It's not too hard to figure out the Bible anymore. It's simple because the seals were broken in heaven so that our people could be what? Released from spiritual oppression. And it's time to celebrate this. It's time to own up. It's time to take that spirit and cherish it. The gift the Most High have given you, it's time to use it for the Most High. And guess what? It's time to shout from the rooftop that Jacob is back. And this is a celebration. In the midst of their satanic evil, we're going to celebrate the awakening, the rise of Israel. 515-605-9327. Hit that like button, okay? Hit it up while I'm going to talk to you right now, right? Now, again, the mystery of the Bible is revealed. And the true people of God is standing up. Blessed are the eyes that can see and the ears that hear the truth that we've been waiting for as a people for a long time, to answer all of our questions to why we went into slavery, right? Why these churches were set up, why Islam was set up. It was to keep us oppressed. The Most High have broken us free. Pastors are standing up now and denouncing paganism. You have Kirk Franklin standing up against his handlers now, his Zionist handlers. You have Kanye West standing against all odds on the truth he understands of Christ. And whether you understand it or not, a lot of people look at him and say, well, it's weird, this, that, and the other. He don't have the full truth. There must be some angle behind it. Why can't it be the Most High freeing our people? It's our people that are always looking at something from a negative viewpoint. It must be an angle. Oh, God can't free Kanye West? He can't wake up other people who had notoriety and popularity? Yes, he can. You notice my man Kendrick Lamar, they just phased him out into oblivion. You don't even hear about him anymore. Okay. But they can't stop this, folks. You can censor. You can call us names. You can send your satanic, unapologetic, satanic Christian handlers by the name of apologetics. Send whoever you would like. You can't stop this because why? You had no hand in our people waking up. Okay? This is uncomfortable space for pagan Christians. Okay? This is a safe space for those who uphold the truth. This is a safe space for those who would like to understand and know more. And there's nothing you can do about it because you had nothing to do with it. All praises be to the Most High. So, we're going to play this real quick and come right back. And there's a lot of things I want to play and get your insight on. Get your perspective on. All right? So, and I wanted to tell you all that the Academy is going great. We're going into a lesson called Who is Edom this Sunday. That's right. This Sunday we're going into Who's Edom. More proof, historical proof that they've hidden from us. Right? Who is Edom or Esau? Jacob's nemesis in the Bible. And you're going to find it's the same people who whitewashed our history. That's right. You don't want to miss this installment of the Academy. So gathering is one at AOL.com, historytimes.org, or gatheringofchrist.org. Go there, gatheringofchristchurch.org, gatheringofchrist.org, and enroll in our Academy. You don't want to miss this. Like the books we're pulling out, guess what? It's like we're using these books as what you would call ammunition. And by the time the Academy is finished, guess what? The clip is empty. I'm going to tell you, the clip is empty. Anything we have, historical and otherwise, is taught in that Academy. We broke down the mystery of the Gentiles like it was never broken down this week. I'm going to tell you, who are the 12 tribes we broke down last week? You don't want to miss the Academy. And if you're not in it, you're missing it. Okay? Now, I'm going to play a commercial real quick and come right back with some commentary we're going to share with you. Hold tight. 515-605-9327. 515-605-9327. Come on in. Hit one if you'd like to say something. And guess what? We'll put you right in the queue and get right with you, okay? Let's do it.
Hey
you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Rawchaa and amazing lessons by Elder Rawchaa. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawya. With 12 amazing lessons, you're guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church for only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.
All right. Coming right back in with you, brothers and sisters. All right. We are back. All praises be to the Most High. And yes, join the Hebrew and Bible Academy. And you might be happy to know, hey, that's right, while Lawya is coming in, that the project is going real good. Music with a purpose. Okay. If you haven't received the new album or haven't downloaded or purchased a new album, you must get the project. Okay. You must get it. You're missing out. Music with a Purpose is our project. And you know, everything we do goes back into the work of the Most High to free more people. So what I would need you all to do at your time, at your own time, okay? You don't have to do it right now, but after this broadcast, 'cause I'm sure a lot of you are chimed in. When you get an opportunity, right? Let me pull it up here. When you get that opportunity, go here to the website we have here. Okay, someone says, love it, Elder. Thank you for helping. I really appreciate all of the support we're getting with this project. Okay, I really appreciate it. It's promoting positive, righteous music. On top of that is music with what? With spiritual undertones. It's leading people back to the knowledge of the Most High and reasoning with righteous minds. And that's the whole thing. Lawya starts it off with the prayer, nice music. You can put that on loop and go to sleep. It's rain behind it. It's very nice, soothing prayer. We have Make a Nation Like Abraham. We're doing a remix of that and release that as a single very soon. We have Hold You. We have A Slave's Journey on there. The introduction to this particular broadcast, A Highest Calling Back Israel. That's on there. Unpicked Fruit. On and on and on. It's just a blessed project. And I thank the Most High. I'm humbled by all the support we're getting. And like I said before, it goes right back into the work, brothers and sisters. I can't thank you enough. My love goes out to you that you really appreciate. And what you saying? You laughing?
No, I'm sorry. I'll mention it after you. I didn't.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody mentioned. I'm assuming they talk about the video. They said, what about the part with the clones in the video?
The clones in the video.
I don't know. I guess the part in the video where there's, multiple.
Oh, there's no clones in the video. Okay. And I'm glad someone asked that because I'm only one person. And I know that a video came out a few years ago that said that the real Rawchaa was bagged in Egypt and kidnapped. And you can tell that this is a new Rawchaa who have been cloned by the Illuminati. They said that, the original Rawchaa was probably about 15, 20 pounds lighter. But I digress, right? I mean, as far as I know, I wasn't kidnapped. I'm not buried in a desert. But who knows? They said they took Azel too. And you can tell because Azel now have long hair. Azel had a short haircut years ago. Me and my son is now in a hole in the desert, Lawya. And I don't know how could you have let me come to such a pass, young man.
Well, hey, apparently I'm cloned too, so you know we're both in that ditch somewhere in the desert.
Woo! Listen, as you can see at the end of the video, it shows me waking up in the video.
Right.
So the same way there is no clear chronological understanding, where usually when you're dreaming, it's fragmented. And what they claim is it's through your subconscious that things are fragmented based on the things you're praying about, you're thinking about, things that may worry you, whatever the case may be. So if I'm a man who's been reading the Bible and been talking through the Most High, through his word, and talking about the end and how we have to prepare in all these things, of course, some of these things would be a part of my subconscious while sleeping, right? So little things that I've gone through, so sometimes it's going to be a little eclectic, fragmented. Things are not going to be all together until you wake up and try to resolve it. So it was the producer's idea, the guy that came to film it, to say, well, listen, we're going to have you walk in white 3 times and black in 3 times and transition to you at the end. I don't know, I mean, you tell me what you think it is, but but it wasn't him thinking of a clone. Right. He was thinking of, in a dream state, things are not totally clear. And it was a different dynamic visually. I didn't have a say on every part. I was just there. I was making sure that whatever I do in the video wasn't breaking God's law. Okay. And I tried to make sure things was as, open-ended to the degree in which it's not just a message for the children of Israel in the earth, but for the world to understand and know. And I was cognitive with things like, we noticed that while we were doing a shoot, when people were singing and the rain was coming down, that there was a white church across the street from where we were actually shooting. It ain't our church, but there was a cross there. So we had enough knowledge to know we don't want people to think we're upholding that. So we called the video maker and said, you have to make sure you blot that crap out. We don't deal with no crosses of Tammuz here. And even though he was like, well, I thought that was a dynamic, him not realizing that we are a church that don't deal with symbols and all those things. He ended up blotting out the cross where it wasn't seen. So the things I could control, I did. But but I also said, I told brothers and sisters, and I want to get back into this. I'm not just interested in those who would say, what a blessing, what a great video, all praises be to the Most High and all that, because I'm going to tell you, all of those things really don't drive me. People coming to the knowledge of the truth is what drives me. It's good to know it's being appreciated, but I'm on to the next thing now, right? To help wake up our people. But I'm also interested in not the objectivity. I'm also interested in those who would come on the video and say negative things and try to downgrade it because objectivity brings what? A different perspective where I can fix things in the future if need be. So I don't want people, if it does something for your life, and it's good to hear because I'm getting a lot of positives. It's like for every 500 likes, it's 1 dislike. But the objectivity is there because somebody could make a point that'll help me in the future, that'll help me make things better. So I'm more interested in not only just the good stuff, but the bad stuff, the negative. I mean, people are calling me clowns and all that. And I laugh. I'm like, hey, if that's your perspective, that's your objectivity. Hey, at the end of the day, you're not going to say that Elder Rawchaa didn't put it out there to prepare for the end. On every means and every opportunity I was afforded, the message was consistent. And you're not going to be able to say, if I'm going to sing, it's going to be glorifying the Most High. You're not going to claim that you haven't heard the message. So, hey, I'll become a fool for Christ's sake. I'll become ridiculed. You can call me a clown. You can say I'm crazy. You can call me whatever you would like. But I'm going to use my every being to help free our people. As long as there's breath in me, I'll be talking and preaching the rise of the children of Israel and the exaltation of Christ. Hey, because why? Before the truth, I was dead anyway. I was a dead man, dead in sin. So the man you're talking about, hey, he's all that. He's all the negative you're saying. I can accept it. I'm everything negative you're saying. I can accept it because I was a dead man anyway. And the Most High saved me. He saved me. He helped me appreciate what this life is. And in my darkest moment, he just directed me and said, listen, just go out and teach my word. Don't worry about what people say. At the end of the day, you will be standing before me in judgment. And if I followed what people were saying and dealt with the obstacles, I would have hung it up a long time ago, folks. I'm not doing this for man. I'm not doing this for people. I love serving the living God. And his name is Ahia. You want a song? You want to sing? It's a celebration tonight. 515-605-9327. Right? And let me see how long we got. We got an hour and 30 minutes. That's enough time for me to play what I have to play. But let's bring in a few phone calls real quick before I bring in what's going on the circuit with Kanye West and the other preachers who are now standing up against the Zionist handlers. Oh, it's some good stuff happening right now. Our people are breaking free from the Zionist controllers over Christianity. And it's just one step. Any positive step that happens amongst our people must be celebrated. I don't expect Christians who have always lived under the pagan control to change everything at once. I mean, that's unrealistic. But we can at least, it seems like we only talk negative when Christians do something negative, or those of our people who are controlled in pagan Christianity when they do something negative. But we have to also encourage them to stand up against their handlers and celebrate and understand it's the hand of the Most High freeing our people like he did in Egypt from Pharaoh. And when we see any of these ministers who are doing the right thing, like Pastor Darby and other pastors who have passed on, have stood for the truth, you're not gonna hear me say anything negative about it. They might not have followed everything exactly how we're following it, but you can't say the hand of God wasn't on them. Right? Another thing. Right? And I want to say this. Do y'all notice that our videos and what we talk about is very little to do with focusing on other groups and what they're doing and all that? You notice that? I need y'all to check that out. I thank the Most High that the Most High put us in a position to do his work and be critiqued. Something must be going on if you're looking. Okay? All right? I thank the Most High for it. Okay? Keep on looking. Okay? All right, now, let's go down the line real quick. We have 318 area code, then 216 area code. Make sure that the radio is not playing in the background while we bring you in. We're going to take about 2 phone calls, and then we're going to segue into the next segment. Make sure you hit the like button as you come in, okay? Right. Okay, let me pull them up here. Yes, 318 area code. You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Hello?
You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Do you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Now, what was the question? Okay, what was the question?
I'm gonna
that
put you
I'm supposed to
on.
respond to?
I'm gonna put you on hold.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if we're playing in your background, okay? If we're playing in your background, unfortunately, okay, we're not going to be able to continue because it makes for a bad program. We can't dialogue if I'm listening to myself speak with a 1 minute delay, okay? With the delay, it doesn't work for radio. 912 area code.
Shalom, Lawya. Shalom, Elder Rawchaa.
Shalom, you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church. The mystery of the Bible is revealed, and the truth, the true people of God is standing up. You have anything to say on that?
Yes, I have a scriptural question. You know how people who are critical of the name of Hypocrisy say they can't be his name because it's the first person?
Yeah.
Is there ever a time in the Bible where someone's name or a God's name changed depending on who's saying it?
Okay. See, brother, here's the point. Never get caught up in someone's philosophy outside of the word itself. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How can the Most High be in the first person when he is outside of time and space? He's in heaven. So what does it have to be with him? How is he a person or on earth being quantified in the understanding of a person? When he says, I am, so listen, when he says, I am that I am, he's all in all. That means he's in everything. So they're trying to understand this from a grammatical, carnal standpoint. So I don't even get into their hot mess outside of what the Bible says. Right? If someone asks me about the Most High's name, right, I'm going to show you how going forward, you cannot be diverted by man's philosophy. So instead of going into these areas where they try to trip you up with the first person and all this garbage, you go directly to Exodus 3, which Elder Lawya going to do with you real quick. And we're going to see what the Most High answer was to Moses when Moses asked him his name. Okay? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Right? So this is simple. Elder Lawya, read Exodus 3 and 13. Let's start there.
Exodus chapter 3, verse number 13.
Yeah.
And Moses said unto the Most High, Behold, when I am come to the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers have sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, What is his name?
He shall say to me, What is his name? So what is Moses asking the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob right now, sir?
I'm asking for his name.
Thank you. And here's the answer. Read.
What shall I say unto them?
What shall I say unto them?
And the Most High said unto Moses, I am that I am.
So in response to Moses asking his name, he responded with, I am that I am. In the Hebrew, it's Ahaya, Ashah, Ahaya. Read, Elder Lawya.
And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you.
In the Hebrew, tell them Ahaya, I am, Ahaya, have sent me unto you. This is what God said. The only place in the Bible that you can find where the Most High actually answered to a direct question concerning his existence or name. Right? Now,
Mhm.
here's the next thing. See, this is why I don't have to deal with this nonsense people are talking about. They're going all around it. Why? Because they've been exalting Satan as their God for years, unknowingly. So instead of them, this is what lead to black people getting put in belly of ships to serve other nations thousands of years later. Instead of them just listening to what God said out of his own mouth, we tend to find another way outside of God's direction because it's deep. It has to be deeper than what God is saying. Right? Now, I need you to hear what you to hear what Lawya says after that. Read.
Verse 15. And the Most High said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
Then he emphasized, Thus shall you say to the children of Israel,
The Lord God of your fathers,
the Lord God of your fathers,
the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob have sent me unto you. This is my name forever.
Hold on, this is my name is for how long?
This is my name forever.
No, my name is another name in the second person.
This is my name forever.
This is no. You got to look at it in the second person because he's speaking to Moses in the first person.
This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
And this is my memorial unto all generations. And here's the deep thing about this, sir. I've sat with rabbis privately and publicly. You can find them if they haven't been censored online. Not once did I mention the Most High's name as Lawya was it refuted by Jewish rabbis publicly. In the UK, there was two Jewish rabbis, and I proclaimed the Most High's name. And you know what? There was total silence. Not once did he denounce or any of them disagree. Because why? Because they know under their ideology, they're not to tell anyone. Okay, that's a name privately because they're Kabbalists. They deal with the highest name and separate the highest name from all the other gods. And a matter of fact, Yahweh is fourth in line under their Kabbalah. So there's three other names higher according to their ideology than Yahweh. They didn't expect a Negro to know that, but I've studied them. Okay? I've studied them. I've figured out what they were dealing with, and they deal with the spirit of invocation. And in order to control, they must give lesser names to the world so that they can stay in control of all the powers or deities under the highest name. It's called power through invocation. It's a control mechanism. Okay? So you deal with the second or third person if you would like. Okay? But this is what God says. Let's get Romans 10 and 13 real quick. If you're looking for the Zionists to give you the name, and a matter of fact, Yahweh is Zeus. Okay? Yahweh is the same name as Jovi. Jovi, which is Jehovah or Jovi in Latin, is Zeus. Zeus is the god that,
and the reason
listen, Zeus is the god of the Canaanites, the Edomites picked up after denouncing the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Mount Seir. Yahweh is the god of the Shashu. The Shashu is Edomites. They didn't expect us to study that. Okay, so what's happening is you have our people who begin to wake up, and it's true they know they're Israelites, but they don't want to denounce the God that was given to them by the Zionist. They learned Hebrew by those of their controllers. Okay, so what happened was, and at that time the seals weren't broken yet, our people did the best we can as Hebrews, believing that Yahweh or Jehovah was God's name, the Tetragrammaton, and defended it with everything in their being. Who's going to admit publicly to their family and everyone that the whole while I was worshiping Satan? So it's pride. The only reason they won't let that go is pride. Then you got these other guys running around, simple as the days old. They just run around saying, we just going to call on Jesus because nobody know, and we just going to wait till Jesus come. When it was mentioned during the time of Paul, let's read it, Elder Lawya. Come on.
Romans chapter 10, verse number 13.
Come on.
For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Even in the New Testament, it says, he that call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. That's a singular. Read.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
How can you call on a God in whom you have not believed? The Gentiles never presented God's name to us. Read.
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
You have not heard the true name of God, because the Gentiles, the name of God is actually, believe it or not, it tell you the name of the Most High is fierce amongst the heathens. It's grievous amongst the heathens. They can't stand him because he chose us.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
And how shall you hear the Most High's name without a preacher? Now, brother, do you notice that there's only one church in the earth that's really exalting the Most High's name and standing with it against all odds? Do you notice that? Listen, brother. I'm gonna let you go. But you got Jewish people. You have Israelites. You even have the Catholic Church upholding the Tetragrammaton. They expected the same people who Christ told us is the synagogue of Satan and do lie to give us the true name of God. Or their pride won't allow them to accept it because they know it didn't come through them. So instead of them just following the name of the Most High, their pride won't allow them because why? They have indignation against man. It didn't come to them, so it can't be true because it wasn't through them. So the whole thing is, brother, if anyone want to talk about the Most High's name, you go directly to where that the Most High answers the question, right? And then if they try to talk around it, what is to stop them from talking around anything else that God directly tells us to do? Right? If you're not going to listen to what he told Moses concerning his name, that means any place in the Bible, you can do what Christians do now. You can go to any place in the Bible and give your own interpretation and not accept as it is written. Either you're going to accept what God said or not. And one thing we know for sure, God did not tell Moses his name was Yahweh or Jehovah or Yah. But go ahead. Get your point before we go to the next thing, because there's a lot we need to cover. Come on.
So the reason I bring it up is because, the scripture said the Most High changed now. So if he didn't change any other time out the Bible, why would he change it now? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But brother, it doesn't matter. Brother, I want to tell you this, brother. To argue the point is futile. Like if I'm reading this, listen, if I'm reading this and God is telling me his name and it's right there in black and white, but yet the person looking at it in black and white is seeing something different, you have to accept the fact that the Most High said that certain people, he covered their eyes or they would have repented.
Okay.
They can't see. The Most High, it says it right there, and they're still saying, well, no, it's second, third person, first person. And they're looking at it saying, they're blind. And if the blind leadeth the blind, they shall both fall in a ditch. Guess what? I would rather believe God rather than man. If the Most High said his name is that's the name I will exalt in the earth. Period. Because he said, that's my name forever. So, brother, don't waste your time. If they want to fight against it, listen, brother, listen, you can call it. Where was all this energy when our people were calling on Allah? Okay. They're attacking me like I'm saying Allah is something. Is this not the name that the God of the Hebrews gave the Hebrews? Where was all this energy against the Arabs with Allah? Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Because it tell you that at the end, whosoever call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. But how can you call on a name that haven't been taught? The Gentiles aren't going to give it to you. That's the God that freed Israel from the hands of Pharaoh. You think the Gentiles, the people your controllers, are going to give you the true name of God? This is the reason why they took 40 years after following the Dead Sea Scrolls. They took 40 years to actually make the Dead Sea Scrolls public. Why? They had to take the name and put the tetragrammaton all throughout the Dead Sea Scrolls. And you can look at the script and see the only script that's different, the only handwriting that's different in the whole Dead Sea Scrolls is where they changed his name to Yahweh. Huh? Yeah, you've been caught red-handed, Edom. Let's go now. All right. We got about, an hour and 17 minutes. Let's go. Let's start with Kanye West. The mystery of the Bible is revealed and the true people of God is standing up. Blessed are the eyes that can see and the ears that hear the truth in this long-awaited prophetic time. Boy, it's good to be an Israelite right now. Conversations and networking, like I've mentioned earlier, like our King James videos and other videos, is being censored on an all-time level, but it's to be expected. You begin to censor when you can no longer control. And the next level, right? If they can't control you, then they'll try to censor you. And then if they can't censor you, they'll engage you. That's the next step, folks. Conversations and networking is being censored on an all-time level, yet we as a people, the children of Israel, are rising. Let's hear what's going on with Kanye West real quick. One moment. One second here. Oh, it's over here. Yeah. Sorry about that. This is the one. No, that's the other one. That's the other one, right? I put it in small. Yeah, it's right here. I have it right here. Thank you for your patience. No, that ain't it. Let me get it here. It's right down. There it is. I got it right here. There you go. Big Boy have turned into Dr. Phil, in case y'all didn't know. Check it out.
And I don't mean production. I don't mean going to the studio. I just had a chance to kind of speak with you often. We were talking about tuition into the school of experience. Jesus is king.
Now, is that the still shot?
No, they can see the still shot. Okay. But right now, they can't see, right? Okay. They can't see that this is fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of tuition into the school of experience, correct?
Absolutely.
A lifelong tuition?
Yes, I mean, it's up to him. It's God's plan.
I want to play something for you real quick. I think we did this probably 10 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago. And just hear what you say here.
I'm not just a musician. I'm a Christian, revolutionary, visionary products person. I ain't here to dance for you. I ain't here to do a two-step. Right? That's just a piece. That was just my end. And now I want to create. I want to create content. I mean, eventually, 10 years from now, I just want to create for the church, period. I'm Christian. I'm just going to, I'm designed like the new Sistine Chapel. Let's rewind.
So that was probably 10 years ago. Did you always feel like this was a plan? Or was that always in the as far as the windshield, or does it look like it was a plan now that we're kind of in the rearview mirror? Did you always know that you were going to end up here? I mean, 10 years ago, you kind of said it.
Yes, but I definitely was lost. I got lost. I got caught up in my own ego, my own strategy, my own ideas. I tried to hold everything in my own brain, and then I had to let go and just let God and put it back in His hands.
But it's also the test and the testimony. Do you feel like if you didn't go through everything that a Kanye West go through, that you could see and have the texture of what you're doing right now?
I think He had to send me through some more experiences to be able to cast a wider net when He was ready to use me. Like mental health, having a nervous breakdown, going to the hospital and having the stigma of being called crazy. Actually, it didn't make it made me more relatable. It made it a wider idea. Everyone is dealing with health in some way. Like me being taken to my lowest, you know what I'm saying, being called a coon by my own people. The guy that said George Bush don't care about black people is a coon because I didn't say I'm gonna vote on Hillary Clinton. Right? And that actually made me more relatable. You can't imagine when I go through middle America, like, let me tell you, it's like I was driving fast. I was looking at a property that's like 4,000 acres we were gonna buy out here. And I'm trying to drive fast to the freeway and I hit a red light and the guy said, "Now, where you gotta go so fast that you gotta drive this and cut me up?" What, Kanye? Oh, thank you for what you're doing for our country. Thank you so much. Like, you have no idea. You be out here in LA and New York, and they'll have you all jacked up on Mountain Dew. They'll be have you thinking that, like, this reality is not real. People are connected to the idea of having their own land. People are connected to the idea of service to Christ. This is the Bible Belt. This is America. This is where we are free to worship Jesus in the open. And that's a privilege. Also, the idea, I'm going to just jump right into this because I was like talking to James Corden earlier.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't.
And I told him, I said, look, my father's a Black Panther. My mother got arrested for the sit-ins at age 6. They were fighting for us to have the right to our opinion, not the right to vote for whoever the white liberals said black people are supposed to vote for. You get what I'm saying? And then James Corden went in and said, well, this president, you're Christian, and this president, I don't see anything Christian about him. I said, okay, so last year y'all tried to tell me who I'm supposed to vote for because I'm black. Now this year, white liberals trying to tell me who I'm supposed to vote for because I'm Christian. That would be like, I live in Calabasas, so every one of my cars got to be a convertible, huh? It's just all based on y'all vision of what I'm supposed to do. And I understand, like, a lot of people, it's not a matter of whether you like it or who like it. We are in a country where we allowed to like whatever we like. I love Jesus Christ. I love Christianity. I love the Sistine Chapel. I love all the paintings. I feel that Christianity, people make spoofs of it. I'll be looking at Family Guy, and I like Family Guy. I like Seth MacFarlane, right? But he makes jokes about the Christian faith. And I'm sure that's the way he was brought up, but I understand because North, when she talks about church, it's a positive connotation. A lot of us in those 4 walls, it felt like we were stuck in the pews. So like what we said 10 years ago, that you inspired for me to go there, we are now actualizing that. Another thing is like this idea of like apologizing. We'll apologize for saying George Bush don't care. Apologize for running on stage with Ted Swift. Apologize for wearing the wrong color hat. I ain't apologizing for nothing. Y'all dealing with grandpa now. I done been through too much. I'm the founder of a $3 billion company.
Now check this out.
I'm finna listen to somebody online tell me who I'm supposed to apologize for?
Listen to this.
Hey, be quiet, yay. What woke's supposed to be. Hip hop ain't never been about following rules. It's been about doing what you feel. I'm gonna take the Louis, I'm gonna throw it like this. I'm gonna do it with the polo, I'm gonna do it like this. Even like the way I talk. Hold on, let me use my African American voice. Let me use my Disney approved voice. You know what I'm saying? We're not even speaking in our own language, bro. Like, we talk louder than this. Africans talk loud. Italian moms talk loud. We talk louder, but we speak in our corporate voice. Or we don't want to ruin the deal voice. Or this why, bro, I love y'all, man. And I love me. And I love Christ. And y'all should love to see this. I'm not going to tell y'all what y'all should do. I'm just doing what I do. If you love it, then cool. If y'all want to rap me, it ain't going to make a difference, honestly. I done been killed so many times on social media, and I'm still here. I'm still talking. Look at me.
Do you care?
I told you I care
I'm talking
about everything.
Okay, perceived, which could be a crazy word, perceived, as far as like how people look at you. Do you care about that?
I need people to just, I don't even need anything. I'm praying that people can see that Jesus won the victory. When I was making raps in service to the devil, talking about you a hoe, I love it, all this, I was in debt. Now that I'm in service to Christ, God is showing off. He's showing off in my life. He's showing off with my family. I'm just saying, like, y'all got to think, man, black people are like the housekeepers of America. Think about how your housekeeper, you know what I'm saying? They got a certain volume. They're supposed to talk in the house. We got a certain volume. We're supposed to talk in America. So what do you think if a housekeeper is screaming in my house? What do you think the other housekeeper going to tell them?
Be quiet.
Be quiet, yay. Be quiet, yay.
Don't disrupt the house.
Don't disrupt America, yay.
What I'm hearing here, brothers and sisters, he shouldn't be on. If they're going to put medication out there in that house, they should give it to Kim Kardashian. She's saying that he should be on medication. All right. And he should tell her, listen, if you think that stuff worked for you, you take it. Because what I'm hearing here is a free thinker. A free thinker who have tried it Satan's way and failed. Right? Now there's more. Not to say that this guy is the all to end all, but I'm going to tell you, the Most High is doing something with him. He's breaking free. What we're seeing is this in between, his transitioning. Now, all of us go through transitional moments. Now, if we were someone in the limelight and they had a camera on us, people would think through that transition. Of course, everything is not going to be perfect or be understood because you're still figuring it out. But we all have gone through that. And you can't say the hand of God wasn't with us during our transition. We just didn't have cameras and the paparazzi and all these things following us during the whole time. But I understand what it means when you're experiencing a spiritual intervention, where you care no more about what people think about you or say about you or what they can do to you. And it's a level of confidence that's needed to break free and connect to our God. More.
Orphans out here, but don't disrupt.
But what if some people feel like you siding with the slave master too? If we're in the house and it's the Trump household, it's like shit. You siding with the slave master. If we're both in the house and I see you rolling through wearing the red hat, I'm like, man, he just like this dude over here. And am I speaking that? Maybe. Or others thinking that? Maybe. But I'm saying how do
another thing. How dumb do they think we are, in which they can actually incinerate us or get under our skin And we can feel a certain type of way because someone is wearing a red hat. How stupid they must think we are. Oh, he have a red hat on. Right. Oh my God, he has a red hat on. You think you see other nations going through that, can be triggered with someone with a red hat on? Listen to his answer. That's how ridiculous they believe or stupid they believe our people are. You got to side with abortion and killing your babies because he has on a red hat.
Right.
You got to side on our families being separated in feminism and the letter alphabet people because he has on a red hat. So side with degradation because this guy over here is wearing a red hat. That's how stupid they believe we are. Mm-hmm. Right?
Separate that. If we're both in the house, we like, man, you know.
I'd rather deal with somebody who called me an N-word to my face than a person that signed me for a lifetime deal on a 255 page of my contract.
I got you. I got you.
So he just said that, believe it or not, without saying it, okay. Trump is, if y'all demonizing him, he is the devil then. But I'd rather have someone who's going to say something to my face than these Democrats who smile in our face and destroy our people. At least we're dealing with someone who's honest. Even if he's against us, he's honest. Who would you rather deal with? Huh? Now me, I'd rather deal with Christ. I don't believe in any side of this political monster, Democrat or Republican. But all in all, what he's saying is, what have Democrats done for us?
Mm-hmm. And if I can mention also, we're seeing this a lot. We're seeing this this paradigm shift in our society. You're seeing a lot of people making I guess you would call a switch from the Democratic Party. Yeah. So-called African Americans, black conservatives, so on and so forth. And believe it or not, a lot of the things, of course, we don't agree with the politics of it, but some of the things, as he's mentioning and that others are mentioning, that they stand for, anti-abortion, family, pro-family, not always pointing the finger and also, taking the responsibility for the things that are going on in our community. These are things that we can agree with. And I think people get caught up in the political side, not realizing that these people like, Kanye West and others who may go either Democrat or Republican for whatever reason, they're within that realm where they believe the only solution is a political party. Yeah. They haven't reached that level yet where they realize that there's something outside, like there's a way that we can become independent as a nation and become our own, party, if you will, or be pro ourselves. They're not at that level yet. They're still in that political paradigm.
Exactly. Well, the control can only work if there's balance.
Right.
When our people begin to realize that the Democratic Party has always been the party that destroyed us. Mm-hmm. And you begin to run to the side of life, family, having the right to defend your family, you realize that they took our party.
Right.
Our party was family first, the love of God, the protection of children, and being able to protect our children. It was the Democrats that was hanging us. It was the Democrats that voted for slavery and that was against us. They took the value party, the party of morality, for themselves. And left us the party that was always destroying us. We're actually locked in the house with those who have always murdered us. The Democratic Party.
And someone just mentioned it. Black people coming out of slavery originally, we were pro-Republican party.
So you got people like Kanye West and others saying, well, hold up, man. You're not going to pigeonhole me into a party of straight degradation and immorality just because I'm black. He has children. Now, listen, I have children. When you tend to love and care for your children, you are against the killing of babies. And be like, well, hold up. How can you now put me, in a bubble with a party that believe in killing children and saying that that's a black talking point, that's a black issue? Or align my blackness with those who choose to deal with the same sex and all that? How can you align me with that and say, well, in order for me to be in a Democratic Party, I gotta agree with something that I disagree with? Mm-hmm. You understand? You can't align me with something I agree with and just say because this guy got on a red hat, he's racist. I need to agree with all of the degradation and destruction and the drugs in our neighborhoods, the incarceration in our neighborhoods, the immorality that comes through the Democratic Party. So I got to align myself with my own destruction. I got to celebrate my own destruction in the Democratic Party. And you have people with critical thinking and they have the mindset to see things critically through some level of objective eyes of saying, well, hold up, we've been tricked here. Mm-hmm. So you have guys who break from that once they come to a certain level, and immediately they deem you crazy because you're not under control. Mm-hmm. If you are black, you're crazy if you don't vote Democrat. Because why? That's what the control machine says black people do. These are clear signs when you are actually awakening from your psychosis, when you decide not to go with what you would call the population. Mm-hmm. When you decide not to go with the norm that the world have made for us. Mm-hmm. Automatically they can tell, okay, there's a glitch right here. He's waking up.
Right.
Right? I want to play a little bit more that I'm going to get to this pastor who's now being outed by his handlers. And now the black Zionist handlers over the Christian Word Network are now letting everyone, the pastors, know what they have always been, what they've always thought of them. Okay? The only thing they were interested in was the black dollar in our communities. They just needed some people who could do music or who can preach or had a great voice or whatever the case is to lead the money to our controllers. But they have always seen pastors in our communities as nothing more than taskmasters or house Negroes. And I'm going to show you that in a moment.
Let me mention something before you get back in the video. I see a lot of people there's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Are you pro Kanye now and all these different things? What we're showing is that you don't necessarily
pro Kanye.
I mean, I don't know where this is coming from, but
listen, but this is how pigeon-minded
right.
These are the bubbles they have pulled our people into, where you got to think direct one way.
Right.
You can't critically look at something and say, well, I disagree with this part of the person, but I can agree with that part of a person. Mm-hmm. Because why? They don't believe that we should be critically thinking. I don't have to agree with everything Kanye West think or say.
Exactly.
To agree with points that are right according to the Bible.
Exactly.
If he's saying something that's true, that's right according to the Most High, I'm going to agree with it, whether he say it or anyone else say it. It doesn't mean I'm pro or con Kanye West.
Exactly.
What I'm pointing out is that there's a glitch in the program and he's transitioning and the Most High is doing something in the earth. He's breaking our people from control. Okay? Mm-hmm. He's breaking people from that Zionist control before our eyes. And this is what that looks like, is what I'm showing. This is what that looks like when you can no longer control, okay, your taskmasters, your buck dancers. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right. And if I can say, we have to look, like yesterday, I purposely sat down on YouTube for a few hours and I watched videos with perspectives that there's a few things I could agree with, but there were things I couldn't agree with.
Yeah.
But, it all comes with learning how to critically think. It's not about, okay, we're using this. We're mainly using this as a teaching point. It doesn't necessarily mean that we believe everything or we're down with everything he does or says, but we have to get used to actually dealing in an environment where you're not going to always agree with everything, but still be able to have a conversation and learn how to reach people where you may not agree with everything.
Let me say one thing that I do agree with Kanye with here. I agree that he shouldn't be with a party or agree to go with the crowd that says it's okay to kill babies.
Exactly.
I don't have to be pro Kanye to agree with that point.
Exactly.
Okay. I agree with that it's wrong killing babies. And the fact that he's used this platform to say it, you know what? I'm down with it because our God stated in the law, thou shalt not kill. Mm-hmm. You got it? You get it now? Another thing I agree with Kanye is the fact that if it wasn't for this spiritual intervention and his connection with Christ during his transition, it was him trying to learn about Christ and read about Christ that's leading to the courage you're witnessing against his handlers, against the media, against those that once stood against him. He don't care what can happen to his body. And he's more concerned with his soul right now. And only the Most High God can instill in man that level of courage. So I agree with that aspect in him. Now, Sunday worship, Sunday is pagan. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. He's still in transition. So I have to actually focus on the positive things that the Most High is doing with him in this transition and use that as an example of who? The Most High shaking the tree. Ultimately, it's God. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's bring it in the proper perspective. I'm pro-Bible. I'm pro the Most High. And I'm going to say this. There was no one more ruthless in the New Testament than Paul against us and against Christ's church. And he could never live that down. Even when he was teaching the truth and doing what was right, you had people still bringing up the negative he did in the earth. And I know people were saying, what, you down with Paul? He used to do this and he used to do that. But that's because you're carnal minded by only focusing on the man's perspective or the person without seeing God's hand in the transformation. And that's because we're known to look at things on the surface carnally. If you're viewing this as the Most High is, you can see spiritual interventions. This is giving glory to the Most High for transitioning a man. That's what this is about. And if he go back to evil and wickedness and all that, you'll hear us denouncing him too. Okay, let's make it clear, right? But I digress because we only got about 50 more minutes. All right? It's a teaching tool. That's right. So let's broaden our perspectives here.
Right.
Okay.
And then after this, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
No, I'll give a flip side after this because I want him to finish what he's saying. But of course, giving both perspectives of my personal opinion because we can,
Yeah, because radio shows are open for opinion. Mm-hmm. Okay. To me, you have to realize what we do. Christ says that he would make us fishers of men. Mm-hmm. That's our position as shepherds and teachers. Mm-hmm. So instead of looking at the negative in a person, what they did wrong or where they're wrong, it's up to those who are looking to gain brothers and sisters in Christ to look at the positives, what we can relate to reel them in.
Exactly.
And see, even Christ was minimized and attacked by the Pharisees because they said that he hang with publicans and sinners and he's around people who wasn't doing what was right. And they tried to associate him with evil because he says what? If you're already whole, you don't need a physician. If you think you got everything right, what are you here for Christ? What do you need Christ for? Okay. So if you got it all together, who's going to wait for someone out there to be squeaky clean as finished, as if Christ finished them after they done went through Hollywood and been dealing with all type of wickedness? What person are you looking for in transitioning that still don't have some residual effects of that life? What person? But if you're righteous, you're able to, or you're looking at what you can grasp to righteously, You're looking for the Christ in that man or woman, not the negative. See? This is a higher level when you begin to look at things spiritually and not judge only with the sight of your eyes. Okay? Listen.
I'd rather know what I'm dealing with. That's why when I walk in with any, I don't keep nothing on my chest. I be like, this is what I'm dealing with, but I'm here. This is what I'm dealing with. It has been institutionalized slave mastery and slavery. Our mentality is only one of the two. Now we need to find freedom. We got two forms of freedom: financial freedom and freedom.
Now, when he says we need to find freedom, huh? Is that Kanye West? When he says we need to find freedom? See, and this is why we have to look beyond the sight of the eyes. What spirit is moving him and transitioning him to make such a statement publicly? Not for white people and others. He's saying that for us in specific, that we must seek freedom. Is that Kanye West?
Through serving something higher than yourself.
Are you free now? Or are you working on being free?
I'm a human being. I'm delivered, and everything happens for a reason. I'm yay.
Are you still our voice?
Absolutely.
Listen.
Absolutely.
Hold up. Now check out how this guy is tactfully pulling out carnality. Are you still our voice? What voice? The voice of, what are you saying? When he was your voice, you give me money when I'm in need. I'm a gold digger. Is that the voice you want? I ain't saying she's a gold digger. He wasn't talking about Christ at that time. That's when he was the voice for us that we can all agree to and support. Are you still going to hell with us, Kanye, is what we need to know. Are you going to be at that party, that child sacrifice party next week, Kanye?
And I think even if you don't necessarily believe Kanye's transition, one thing this is showing is the hypocrisy in our society.
Yeah.
The fact that people were 100% behind him and they loved the music when it was dark, when it was glorifying Satanism.
Exactly. Where was these what you would call interviews of higher perspective when he was up in wickedness?
Right.
When he was doing stuff with Jay-Z and all that. Where was these sit down and these kumbaya conversations then?
Exactly.
Right? Now, I want to stay too much on this, right? But I just want to pull one other thing out.
That's the thing. You are quite easily controlled if they know everybody gonna be blue. If you go to a white bar, you're going to hear people talking about independent. You're going to hear people talk Republican. You're going to hear people talking Democrat. I'm not telling nobody to not vote Democrat. I love Obama. I love lemonade. I love Wingstop. I love polos. I love Jordans. I love Michael Jordan.
So what he's asking is, why are black people so pigeonholed into one perspective? When amongst other people, there's diversity in thinking. There's a more diverse perspective, a more broad perspective. But we can only believe one thing is what he's saying. We should be ashamed of that. And it had nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. The fact that they put us in this bubble where we can only believe one thing and be satisfied with that.
Right.
You should feel ashamed that they have shaped the way we should think on a lower level, while everyone else in the other nations deal on a more broader perspective and understand everything outside of just the ghetto. You a Negro that can only, you supposed to just deal with the ghetto thought and the ghetto mindset and the slave quarters. Okay. Anything outside of that is, it's beyond your pay grade, is what they're telling you. And you ask black people, and I'm not Democrat or Republican, but you ask people why they vote Democrat, they'll say, well, I don't know. It's just, that's what black people do.
Right.
Look at your neighborhoods. The Democrats put you in that neighborhood. Look at your jails, because you can't say they didn't. You can't say they didn't, because you've only voted Democrat. Okay. You've only voted Democrat. So everything that happened under the Democrats was their plan for you. Huh?
I hate the Dr. Forrest Whitaker's neck. Where was that from? Man, hey Kanye, I do. And make a car out of duct tape, and I was always letting that Playboy magazine that I found when I was 5 years old have an effect on my music. It couldn't never be 100% everything it could be, because I had to add that in always. And it got to the point where literally I went from Jesus Walks to Just Love It.
Excuse me, cut that. I didn't know he was going to say that.
And where that record went straight to what? Number one, quick. This is exactly what we want. This fit right in with whatever else we got. This fit right in with everything we got.
Make sure you bleep that, AC.
This fit right in with everything we got. That promotes killing so that we can have more slaves in the mass incarceration, never-ended slave system. This fit right in.
Why did you make it?
Because I was asleep. Because I was drowned. Because I was lost.
What do you want us to get from Jesus as King?
The title right there. The fact that everyone says that is enough. There was times we think about, well, let's call it Christ Jesus. That's what the old folks say in the church. Let's call it this. And then, oh man, you know what, Jesus is King is too affirmative, because Christians, we be out here, because on one hand, it's like, are we too judgmental? Are we not judgmental? Are we saying what we're supposed to say? Are we not? It's Christians, it's hard to have a position because we so drowned out by music and culture. Oh, that's not cool. Take that preaching over there. So it's Christians that told me the title Jesus is King is too heavy-handed. Now people be hitting Quince like, man, when that's dropping? When that Jesus is King dropping? So there's an opportunity where people are coming for the music, but they may leave with salvation. It's easy, man. It's very simple. It is.
And you know what I pray? I pray that the Most High continue to work with this brother. And I also pray for the day that this brother has the truth, a mitre on his head like you see with Lawya right here. And I pray that one day he'll switch that Sunday service to Sabbath service. Keep your eyes on this. But because we all had a transition.
Paradise or Fahrenheit?
I hear you. Either it's paradise or it's that hot get down.
Or it's Fahrenheit. And let me tell you, it's like,
and I hear people calling Kanye a wolf. Let me tell you, man, you have some people that are so, I would say, you have a lot of people with no compassion at all. So unforgiving. And I'm going to tell you, man, hey, every word you type, every word you say, you'll give an account. And be careful how you judge. Because when you're on the other side, you'll be reaping what you've sown. So don't think because you're in the privacy of your home, typing what you want or saying what you want, that the angels aren't chronologizing. Because guess what? You're no different than Kanye. You are a sinner. and all of our righteousness together is as filthy rags. Just remember that. And I'm putting it out there. You don't know what the brother is. And you're not in a position to say what the brother is. Who are you? A sinner.
Working for God. I told you 10 years ago it's all I ever want to do. Now I'm here. Mm-hmm. These interviews, to me, they remind me of when I first got with my wife. And people was like bringing up other women's name in the interview, and they was trying to diss my wife. And you're going to see some documentation. I'm spazzing on people. This is one of the most beautiful people ever lived.
Now let's transition over to here. That's one, right? Let's transition over. Right? 1 second. To show you that something is going on in the earth right now. We're looking at Bishop George Bloomer. Right? Bishop George Bloomer was for years a head bishop on the Word Network. Right? I don't mean to laugh here. He was a tight Pied Piper for the Zionists who control the Word Network. The Word Network is primarily a black network, Christian network, where you can find our preachers, you can find our music, but it's ran by Jewish people. Now, go figure. Where black pastors must pay this machine called the Word Network, which all of us believe is black, to broadcast on that network. Right? I'm going to show you something that's happening right now. Right? Check out what's going on with him. He received some text a few days ago from Kevin Adele, a controller over a black program. And this controller doesn't look like us. All the people that are behind the scene of these black Christian networks are white. All that money in our communities that could actually help fund our people are being given back to those who are working to destroy us. Check out what's going on with him real quick, if we may.
This is what he sent to me. You look like a midget.
Hold up now. He's reading his text now. The Zionist controllers who have always controlled him for decades sent him some text on, not Texas, that's a state, some text, okay, on the way of booting him off the network. Now, this black guy was the one who've been bringing all of our people on the network to make it a multi-billion-dollar, what you would call conglomerate for the Zionist. Okay, it's a place you go. You're not knowing unless you are recognized under the Word Network. Come to find out, we could have just had our own network with, if the Christian churches who are doing all the singing and pastors, and had our own network where the money stayed within our people the whole time. But we made this controller filthy rich. And what do this brother get in return? He get a text that says what? You look like a...
Kevin Adele is disingenuous. He's not telling the truth. And he's also lying. Okay? He told the Detroit News that he sent it to me so that I could be aware of it. Okay? But he also sent this to me so that I could be aware of it. Let me find it. And I'm gonna send these things to you, Roland. Let me see.
He was on the Roland Martin show.
Set it up first. This is what he sent to me. You look like a midget.
So a Zionist controller told this guy, this top bishop, you look like a midget.
You're tattooed from the fantasy island.
Lord have mercy.
See if I can. I didn't know they made tuxedos that small. This is not funny. He texts me back.
These are men of God right here in this conversation that controls the word network.
LOL. I said, this has racist connotations. It's equivalent to blackface. He then sends me a picture of him in a tuxedo, and he doodles blackface on the person. They can say whatever they want to say. I'm not talking.
Now, we've been telling people for a long time that the controllers over Christianity don't take any of these black pastors seriously at all. That they're just using these pastors to siphon money that we should be using for ourselves within our communities for years. Right? Now, after he done made this so-called Kevin Adele, this Zionist Jesuit, a billionaire almost through the black churches, now the guy's calling them names, sending them texts, blackface. He don't care if black churches begin to pull their programs and all that. This guy done invested all this money for decades that was being sent to him through black people, and have sent his children to college and have invested in real estate. He probably got land overseas and all that. Money siphoned from the black community to the degree where he don't even care anymore. And the guys that are controlling these networks aren't Christians. They're Zionists. They don't even believe in God, a lot of them. They're atheists. But now they're kicking black pastors to the curb. Now, you know what? To some degree, it's a blessing. Because there's a conversation being had now amongst black pastors saying, you know what? And this goes back to the topic we're talking about right now. It goes right back to it. Let me pull it up here. One moment. It comes right back to the conversation we're having, brothers and sisters. One moment. Let me pull it up here. That our people are now standing up. In areas they used to stay quiet, they're using their voice to speak against injustice on every level. And I use Kanye West as an example. Now I'm using this pastor as an example. There's another example where Kirk Franklin, now I don't agree with everything Kirk Franklin anything do, but he's standing up against the black Grammys, or it's like the black Grammys for the Christian network now. Because they censored him speaking against the injustices against our people. What I'm saying is, regardless of these individuals, none of us out here can deny something is going on in the earth. On the surface, you have Israelites everywhere since the early 90s who have been out on the street being called crazy and all that. To the degree where Christians was like, nothing will ever come from that. We don't even got to address them. They look crazy. They look how they dressed. When the Most High was doing something back then, he was building the base of the ministry that all of his people would cleave to at the very end, realizing we're Israel. It's our God shaking the tree at every level to where there's nothing left but us accepting the fact that we must be those same people who made an exodus out of Egypt. I'm just using a lot of these Lawya examples of what's going on to say, nah, you have to look beyond that pastor. That pastor is that pastor, and that Zionists have always been that racist Zionist taking money. That's all they do. You have to look beyond just Kanye West saying he lived for Jesus and staying courageous and all that. You have to see what's going on. On every level, the teachings of the Israelites are coming out now. People are leaving the churches, coming to the truth of themselves, questioning the ideology that's been taught to us by pagans. Christians are standing up now against their handlers. And it won't be too long, Lawya, before not only will they stand up against their handlers, they'll start looking into the doctrine they learned in the theologian seminary schools. It won't be too long. I'm getting phone calls from pastors. They're already doing it. Our God is shaking on every level, folks. Can you not see this? This is a time to celebrate, folks. And this is happening without us out there saying the white man this and the white man that and the white man this. Nah, they'd rather you argue on that level. The truth exposes lies, regardless of color. This is what they feared. A nation who no longer needs them. Woo! Are you ready? The mysteries of the Bible revealed. Let's read this real quick, Elder Lawya, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the book of Daniel. Then we're going to open it up. 515-605-9327.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 1.
Yes.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake.
Many of them at the very end that sleep in the dust shall wake. And that's also talking about the valley of the dry bones, Ezekiel 37. Our people will begin to realize that this matrix, we've been raised in a matrix of lies, right? Within the matrix of lies. Right? Go on.
Some of them to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
Come on.
And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end.
Hold up. Shut up the book. He told Daniel, shut up the book until the time of the end. See, we went through Christianity, and you know what? The gospel music and all that and the white Jesus, a lot of that was us just spinning our wheels, grasping onto anything we could until the books would be open for us. Right? He told Daniel to shut up the books until the time of the end. Read.
Many shall run to and fro.
Many shall run to and fro.
And knowledge shall be increased.
And knowledge shall be increased. And that's the time we're living in right now. He told Daniel to shut up the books until the time of the end. But folks, guess what? The seals are off of the book now. The controllers can no longer control us through Jesuit theology, because now the seals are open, and now our people are coming to the reality of what we've always understood to some degree. That the only people that can relate to the characters and people in the book are our people. That we're the children of God. We're no longer going to follow this book or deal with this book from a Christian European perspective anymore. We're going to follow the book narrative literally as the people of God. And when the seals were broken, we began to take ownership of this book. And that's the only reason Europeans, Jesuits, and Satanists began to downplay the King James Version Bible only to replace it with the NIV. Claiming, oh no, you can use the NIV because it's speaking in our language now, and that old Quaker English is hard to be understood. My grandparents understood this Bible fine before the NIV. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? All the people that you begin to deliver the NIV Bible to come from generations of Christians who only use the King James Version. They lied. They knew we would begin to open the King James Version Bible and see ourselves in it. We would begin to look at the Bible, and you notice the NIV where it says black relating to us. They have carefully changed all those scriptures and changed the context of the color of those people in the NIV, knowing that the seals were broken. They knew that we would begin to relate back to the Bible. Why? It was prophesied. So they say, it's the same way we lied on King James, a black man. The same way we lied on him, it's not enough. We need to move that translation out of circulation altogether. Before his people, the people of King James, the Jews, Israel, wake up. That's the time we're living in, folks. It's a time for celebrating. And it's not a time to celebrate Halloween. Okay? It's not a time to celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's a time to celebrate the awakening of the children of God. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, on and on and on and on. We are back. Right? We are back. Finish reading what you got, Elder Lawya.
Oh, let's sit on that.
Right? Let's get Amos 8 and 11. Matthew 13 and 9 first. And you're going to see more people, what you would call stalking Israelites. At one time, let me tell you, at one time, they would just ignore Israelites altogether. Nah, that'll never catch wind. Oh, no. They said, look how crazy they look. Look what they're talking about. They are a spectacle. Let me tell you, the Most High always used the fewer in number. He have always used the spectacle. Those that the majority have slept on. Christians was ignoring the Israelite awakening the whole time while they were filling their coffers in their pockets and sinning willfully in the earth, excusing their sin through the doctrine of grace. And while they were dealing with that prosperity garbage, the Most High was carefully choosing the 144,000 to teach our people on the grassroots level. Christian pastors got too high for our people. They only thought about the finances, the money. They got too high. And guess what? The Most High had us work right up under with our people. Why? Because we were always there. We were always there. And the truth did it. The Most High did it amongst the poor. It wasn't about sending some guy to a theologian school or sending someone to some high college with these lofty titles and degrees. The Most High would use the lowest man in our communities from amongst us to help raise us. That's the time we're living in right now. Okay? Finish reading. Read it real quick, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Matthew 13, verse 9. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him,
Come on.
Why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Why speaketh to everyone in parables? Read.
He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries.
It is given to us to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Most people are confused when they open up this Bible. It's like a puzzle to them. It's like dark sentences that cannot be understood. But Christ said, no, it's not for all to understand. See, it's not for everyone. But when you start viewing this Bible as the people from its proper perspective, literally, the scales fall off your eyes and you begin to read the book and understand it. Why? Because you have a vested interest knowing that now you can relate to the people in the Bible. They are us. That was the mystery that been hid from our people in slavery. That at the whole time that we had no idea who we were, we still praised God. We were the most spiritual people on earth. We still went to church with no understanding, didn't have half of the understanding we have now. But we walked in faith and believed. Why? Because we were always the people, folks. Even in darkness, we stood with God and stood with Christ. And now he has rewarded us with the truth of ourselves, that we are in fact the children of Israel. We're not Jewish. We're Judah. Huh? And that's not saying nothing negative about someone being Jewish. But I've read this Bible backwards and forward, and not once did I find the tribe of Jewish in the Bible. We're Judah, folks. We're the Israelites. This is the mystery that has been hid. The seals have been broken now. That means you can leave Islam alone. It was never for you. You can leave pagan Christianity alone. It was never for you. The King James Version Bible was always for us. It was translated for us. Read it.
Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
Come on.
But to them it is not given.
But to the other people, it's not given. That's why Christ told the disciples, blessed are your eyes that you see. Because almost everyone on this earth, or if you're living in the Western world, owned the Bible at some point in time, but couldn't understand it. Why? Because it wasn't given for everyone to understand. And be honest, have you ever seen anyone on this earth break down this Bible in our current time like Israelites? Anyone? Think about it. Why? The Spirit bear witness, folks. We're the people. We're the people, folks. Come on.
Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
And so if some New Jack Gentile theologian or anyone else come our way and try to tell us about our book, we can come back and say, listen, buddy, to the wicked thou have said, what have thou done to declare the Most High statutes and to take his word at thy mouth? Being that you have put his word behind you. How dare you try to tell an Israelite the true doctrine according to the Bible? Being a heathen, upholding heathenistic practices, not following God's law. Okay? You have no credibility here. You have no position to correct an Israelite. You are a heathen. So get in line. Okay? You are a heathen. You can't debate this Bible. This book belongs to us. You are Edom. Okay? Let's go.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For whosoever hath, to him it shall be given, and he shall have more abundance.
Yeah.
But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing.
And the people's ears are dull of hearing. And that's why so many people now of our people have given up, have turned to atheists, have walked away, because at one point they believed that nonsense they have been witnessing in the Christian church was taught from the Bible. It's to the degree where our people began to give up. Until truth came. Until Israelites began to awaken. And right now, the truth of Israelites who are teaching Christ is the only doctrinal hope for our people. On top of that, it's the only doctrinal hope for the world. Check that out. Because the so-called theologians are losing it big time. Look how many people are walking away from the church. Why? Because they can no longer answer the tough questions. People don't believe in church based on the false fairy tale doctrine given to us by the satanic Romans. So we're the last hope for this world, folks. We've always been. And that's why this time should be celebrated. When I see brothers standing up against all odds, standing for truth, they may not know the Bible like we know it, but guess what? It doesn't take a serious observer to understand that something is going on with our people on every level, within every demographic. Be it the music business. Let me tell you, be it in the sports arena. Everywhere a conversation is being had, folks, about the awakening. On every level. I'm telling you, it's the Most High. This has happened throughout all of history. When you study history, folks, this has happened through every transition before one empire fell and another arose. This time we're living in right now. This has happened throughout history, a change that will lead to another empire. The key point about it is the next empire is ours. This is what they're feared, because after this empire, no new empire will rise. This is what they're feared all of their existence, the end. Not the end for us, the end for their rulership. This is what they feared, and this is why they believe this doctrine that we're teaching in Christ is such a threat. Because the Bible prophesied the fall of the fourth beast. And we're living in the harlot who came from her. Huh? Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. Why? Because the children of Israel are rising. That's why. We've been holding Babylon up. It's our brick that have been building Babylon. Now that the Most High is pulling us into his dear kingdom, the kingdom of his son, every time one person is pulled with the understanding he's an Israelite, another brick is removed from the Tower of Babel. Huh? What? Let's get some phone calls.
Yes, sir. And before we do so,
come on.
As I mentioned, I wanted to give my personal opinion.
Okay, come on.
All right. Being objective about the topic.
All right.
Of course, there's many things I agree with in regards to some of the things that Kanye West is mentioning.
Yeah. Let me put this out there real quick.
Yes, sir.
Going real quick before you, because I don't want to interrupt that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
in
sir.
the midst of this, I wanted to put out there that, again, we're doing this work. We need all the resources and help that we can get to finish, okay? All right, so if you want to support the church, keep in mind what you send to the church belong to the church. If you want to give tithes and offerings to myself and Elder Lawya, because our monies are separate and we make sure we keep the church's money separate, because people have sent me email and want to know how they can send it to us directly outside of what they help the church with, and we really appreciate it and thank you for doing so. I want to put this out there real quick. That's my name and that's Lawya's name, and here's the address if you want to send check or money order to the P.O. Box in Philadelphia to help us personally. That means if you respect and like what's going on with our blog talk and our Wednesday program, this is how you can help support us to continue in this, to get better equipment for GOCC Media, so you can see more of what we're doing, you know, as the end draw near, okay? And it so happened that money is a defense. And if we have put our money towards so many other things, why not to help this ministry bring forth the truth to awaken more and more of our brothers and sisters? So I want to put it out there. So if you want to donate, you can go to, you can put it in my name, which I just put out there, right? Again, in Lawya's name, it's right there. Okay, right there. And it's P.O. Box 946, 2000 Hamilton Street, Philadelphia, PA 19130. Check or money order. You can put it in my name, which is Richard Shepard, or you can put it in Elder Lawyer's name, which is Brandon Ray. And then that's our personal monies outside of the churches. We don't intertwine the two. What belongs to the church is for the church's work, and what people send personally to us is what we use as offering. I wanted to put that out there. Or you can send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com, and you can ask, well, how can I do so outside of the check or money order? If I want to do it a different way, there's other ways to do so through PayPal or what have you. But you have to send us an email if you would like to do it outside of the check or money order. I just wanted to put that out there real quick. Go ahead, Lawyer.
Yes, sir. So just to give a perspective, as I mentioned, there's many things that I've seen, and I can't say that I've seen every single interview, every single public outing that Kanye West has had. So maybe I'm speaking from a perspective of a lack of information as to what is going on.
Yeah.
I do know for a long time, or for a while at least, he has been kind of, mentioning a few things that are kind of thought-provoking coming from someone of his stature. But two things I'm mainly interested in. Number one, the progression, of course, of his journey to see where this goes. And secondly, the main thing I'm interested in is seeing what is his, I guess you would say, his biblical, what are his biblical, either his biblical foundation
or his biblical perspectives.
Right, his biblical perspectives, his biblical convictions.
Exactly.
And the reason I say that because, number one, let me put this out there. I don't expect him to come out and say that I'm an Israelite, I don't eat pork, I worship the Sabbath. I don't expect him to come out and say those things at this time. But at least I want to know, okay, what is his perspective on Christ? I don't even expect him to say that Christ is a black man. I'm going to give him that. I don't expect all those things to come out. But I want to know who he believes Christ is according to Scripture, or what are his convictions concerning Christ in Scripture. And the reason I say that is because we've seen many examples of people come out and mention Christ and mention the Redeemer, mention the Savior, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But later on through time, you started to see that their mentioning or their conviction concerning who the Savior is wasn't necessarily the Christ of the Bible. For example, a few years ago, we remember Farrakhan. He came out and he made a speech of, I know my Redeemer and Christ is...
You're talking about Elijah Muhammad.
Right, exactly. A few months later, it comes out that the Christ he was speaking of was Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, my goodness. Some hot mess.
Exactly. So that's one example. We also know that, I believe either earlier this year or maybe sometime last year, Snoop, he also came out with a gospel album. But when it came to questioning his biblical convictions about who Christ was, his biblical convictions didn't necessarily match his quote-unquote celebration of Christ through his gospel album.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that, again, I agree with many things he's saying, but I'm interested to know what he says concerning who he believes Christ is according to the Bible. Like, what is his biblical foundation as it pertains to Christ? And I think, it's only fair that at least that information be out there so that...
The water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Get your cup here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Right. So I think that's only fair that information at least is out there to know, okay, what direction is this going in? And, at last, I don't think that it's fair on the other side to automatically point him out and say he's a wolf, he's this, he's that, because you don't know what someone is dealing with as they, before as they lay upon their bed and they meditate and they're thinking about their life and their decisions. You don't know what someone is going through and what their convictions are. So it's up to that person to provide openly what those convictions are with the word. Okay? So that's the only thing I had concerning that.
But one thing the word agree with, and I agree with wholeheartedly on something that Kanye West has stated.
Mm-hmm.
Emphatically, I agree with. Christ is king.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, until he go into the word, and I'm going to assume it's the Christ we read about.
Mm-hmm.
Until he specified differently, like Farrakhan and
Right.
others, who are just using Christ's example to exalt
Right.
a man they honor.
Right.
That's antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
So until he state anything different, I'm going to assume that he's talking about the Christ that's coming back to save the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Christ is king. Now we only have
One more thing. Let me be fair.
Go ahead.
I mentioned something about Snoop, and someone did mention that one of his videos. Okay, I'm not.
You're
I
not
didn't
privy
see the
to
video.
that.
Yeah, I didn't see the video myself, but I did hear about it. That in one of his latest videos, he had a clip of the Israelite group UIC in it. So maybe something is working with. I don't know, but I have to be fair in that assessment also. So I'm not going to say that he is all. Only time would tell.
Well, if something happened lately where, like I said, that's why you can't be premature in judging someone's transition.
Exactly.
It's just that their transition is no different than ours. It's just that we don't have a camera during the confusing parts of our awakening.
Right.
You understand?
Exactly.
Where it can be critiqued on every level. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize when we first found the truth, we didn't have the full doctrine and understanding. That comes through time.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between them and us is that we don't have a camera in our face at every stage of our transition.
Exactly.
Right? So here it is. We only got 2 minutes and 51 seconds before the blog talk ends. So if you would like to be in for overtime and have a few statements on what we've discussed this evening, just call in 515-605-9327 now and hit the 1. Or you will not be able to get in after about 2 minutes. 515-605-9327. Okay? Now let's go down the line.
Step to the back.
Okay, that's fine. 919 area code. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, elders. Hey, I just want to make a quick statement. Hey, that album, hey, I don't know, back in the days, you might have listened to an album, you had a special feeling. Well, your album definitely gave me that special feeling. And that song, To Be in Love, I think I may make a baby to that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting the album. And To Be in Love. There's so many great songs on there, and it's a long time coming. And I hope you enjoy it, brother. And yes, with that song, To Be in Love, you can make a nation like Abraham. No doubt about it. All right? Thank you for your support.
90 seconds.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and if you would like to get the album, you can go to, I just put the link there, royaltymusicbyshepherd.com. royaltymusicbyshepherd.com to get the album, okay? And it's one song in particular, To Be in Love, he's talking about. It's one of the songs I did years ago, and it's part of the compilation. So, hey, support the work and enjoy the music. And also, you can go to YouTube and see our video.
60 seconds.
After the fire is gone, right? After the fire is gone. After the fire is gone, one moment. After the fire is gone, you can go there. As a matter of fact, let me...
Return now to the ongoing chaos in Hong Kong.
That's how the video starts, in total chaos, right? And let me give you a link. If you haven't seen the video after the fire's gone, there's the YouTube link right there if you would like to see the video after the broadcast, okay? 515-605-9327. Make sure you make a comment on the video. You like, share, subscribe on the channel of the video, and we're going to have a lot of things coming with GOCC Media. So hold
10
tight.
seconds.
I'll be discussing that this Sabbath, what we're doing with GOCC Media. Thank you. I really thank you for all your support, too. What we're doing wouldn't be possible without the support of God's people, without you all. And even the naysayers and those that are against us, it's okay, too. We don't take anything personal. We're fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves. Whether we agree with you or not, or whether you like us or not, we're still here to sacrifice to make sure that the word of the Most High is exalted and that you get saved through the perils to come. And we hope that even if you, I know so many people who told me at first they seen our videos and couldn't stand my guts. And that's why I don't really take anything personal, because it's this work is a transition. See what I'm saying? I've had many people say, I couldn't stand you at first. I hate your guts. I hate everything about you. My husband was looking at your video, or my wife was looking at your video, but then come to find out something struck a chord. So if that friction leads to people viewing more, even in their hatred, as long as Christ is taught, is all that matters. And if one day the Most High is going to have something said that you can relate to and understand that your perspective could have possibly been wrong. So it's okay. So even if you go to the video and hate on the video, you can call me whatever you like. Believe me, I'll laugh about it. Okay, I have a sense of humor. You can call me anything you want. You can say I've been cloned 3-4 times. Go ahead, just knock yourself out. Make a comment, even negative one. It doesn't matter, because the views will allow the video to actually bump up to the degree in which it's preferred, and it may trend to help other people prepare for after the fire is gone. I can care what no one say about me. I'm fine. And I understand that this vessel, if I endure unto the end, and if we endure unto the end, we're going to shed this vessel anyway. I'm looking for life eternal and immortality through Christ. Right. And that means to shed this body. So if you want to talk about me and whatever the case is, I'm going to tell you something you probably didn't know. Right before the shoot, a zit popped up on my nose. All right. Okay, good. I'm a man. And, you know, and I'm like, well, is that going to show? They're like, don't worry about it. We'll put something on it. I'm like, well, I don't care. Show the zit, whatever the case is. Listen, we're going to shed this anyway. Just support the work to the degree where it can help someone else. Even if you don't like me, I'm fine with it. Okay. All right. 352 area code. Let's see.
About that.
Shalom, you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church. Okay, all right. I see. Know what I'm going to do there. That's in gigabyte land. All right. Let's go down the line. Get your calls real quick. 318 area code, then 803 area code. Now I'll come back to you in gigabyte land once I'm no longer playing in the background. All right. 281 area code. That's right. The mystery of the Bible is revealed, and the true people of God is standing up. And I mean, we've covered so many areas this evening. I don't know where you'll start, but come on. 281 area.
Hey, Shalom, Brother Muhammad from the Houston body again.
Hey, what's happening, Captain?
I tuned in. What's up, brother? Shalom. I tuned in when you were speaking on It's a Time for Celebration. And, man, I just give so much thanks to the Most High because, you know, I've witnessed so much miracles in this body, in this truth, period, in this walk. It's ridiculous, man. I've seen babies from my brothers, recite their Our Father prayer in Hebrew before they're 3 years old.
Oh, before
they can talk right, but can recite Our Father prayer in Hebrew before 3 or at the age of 3. You know, I've seen children in this body discern things spiritually before they're even 15 years old. You know, thinking about what you're saying and comparing it to the scriptures Is this what I've learned? Is this what I know to be true? Is this Yeshaya speaking? And you can see them pondering these things as children. So it gives you an idea what great magnificence they shall grow into in the future, and how the scriptures are never vain. You know, I'm seeing people outside this truth wake up to the fact that something is like Kanye and Nick Cannon and all these other cats. They're waking up to something belongs to us, and we need to return to our one, the Bible with Kanye, and two, our ancestry with Nick Cannon, and it really warms my spirit. It really does give reason for celebration, and you know, I praise the Most High because it's only through Him and by Christ and His testimony and prophecy that I can see these things at 25 years old. That I can live through these things and notice them. You know, I'm noticing people around me being more conscious of what they do spiritually. Now, many of them don't, but the ones that do, you can pick that up easy. So I just want to give that testimony. Also, another testimony, man, I don't know if you remember. You gave a lesson with Shabbat, Shabbat, and you were speaking about this drug called Tamiflu, and how some sister almost killed herself or did something. She almost died off this drug.
Yep.
And that same day, because I listened to it during work, and that same day I got that information, my mother became ill. And I got off from work and had to meet her at an emergency clinic, and it was something else. And I'm seeing my mother in this hospital bed, and lo and behold, what drug are they trying to give her? Tamiflu. And I said, man, if this isn't a spiritual battle, a test right now going on, because I got the information on the drug. Now my own mother, my beloved mother, is trying to be force-fed this by the pharmacy, these people. I'm telling them, what is that? What is, what's going on? Can I get the side effects on this, that, and the other? They're saying, oh, sir, you need to leave the room. Ma'am, we just want you to live. We don't want you to die. Trying to scare my mother. Mind you, she's a nurse. My mother's a nurse. So she has a lot of invested faith due to this programming and stuff like that in pharmaceuticals.
Did she take the Tamiflu?
Oh, ma'am, I just want you to live. Hold on. I just want you to live. I don't want you to die, so on and so forth. So I close the door. I kind of run them out the room, close the door, and start praying. My mom's looking at me like, oh, Lord, he's getting to this whole church thing again. He done watched them people on the, she knows what I'm dealing with. But she knows it's Bible-driven. So something must have resonated. She did not take the medicine. Within 10 minutes, she's like, I feel better. Let me just catch my wind real quick. And we got out of there. And I know if it had not been for the Most High giving me that information through you guys by the Holy Spirit, and also me praying fervently in that room, my mother would have took that drug, and only a high knows what would have been the outcome to that. So that's a big testimony that I have in this truth.
Oh, praise
that I know I'm dealing with the truth. I know what I am dealing with right now in my life is real and the truth, and I can't be moved off of it, man.
Oh, praise be to the Most
High. Bless you guys, love y'all, and keep on.
Man, thank you for this testimony, brother. I mean, brothers, let me tell you, when I hear stuff like that, Lawya, let me tell you, this is what the work is about.
That's right.
This is why we sacrifice. When I hear things like that, I had no idea of putting those things out because we were reading the side effects and how Tamiflu was really out there driving people crazy and killing people and all that. I had no idea that it would directly help a person I've never met before. We were just giving them the details that are not normally discussed within our communities. We're too much of a trusting people. We trust the same society and the same pharmaceuticals and the same educational system that have always destroyed us. So the Bible says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If we give our people are smart, they're intelligent, if they have the information to weigh decisions with.
Right.
You understand? So all praises be to the Most High.
Right. If I can mention also, some people may ask, why are we always going into what the people are doing, and why are we going into all these different things? Why we just focus on the Spirit, just focus on the gospel? Not realizing that a large portion of the gospel was healing the sick.
Exactly.
People who are already affected by these demonic attacks. So we're going into this information to show you that, listen, if you take these particular medications and these things they're trying to administer, you're actually going to administer yourself the same demonic sicknesses that Christ was coming and trying to heal people from in the first place.
Exactly. So we focus on how they're making our people sick.
Right.
Because sicknesses are demons. So you have us working backwards. Can you pray on us? Pray on you for what? Oh, the demon I just popped. Okay. We'd rather warn you before you pop the pharmacy or demon that's controlling you or attacking your soul, your body, your spirit, your mind.
Right.
See? All right, let's go down the line. Only a few more calls. 318 area code.
Or attacking the soul, the body, the spirit, your mind.
Shalom. Okay. 803 area code. 803 area code. Shalom. You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Shalom.
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 This is our brother from South Carolina.
Talk to me.
I just had a few say real quick. First and foremost, those that were calling Kanye a wuss and all these things, you know, as you get deeper and deeper into this truth and you get the years, you know, Paul said it best. When I was a child, I spake as a child, but when I became a man or a woman, I put away childish things. Compassion is one of those things that we pick up as a grown-up, right? Where we understand that not everybody's going to be on the level that we're at.
Yep.
And where we are on our walk.
That's right.
But we should always look to understand we were there once before too. You know, and if you could see yourself in that person and the Christ in that person, you would understand that going through the journey. And all we can do is discuss it and move forward, because what he's doing right now, why wouldn't anybody look at it and be like, all praises to the Most High? Why wouldn't you give God the glory first? You know? So me and Deacon Nassar, we've been talking about this since last weekend. You know, Big Boy, you know, always trying to look to quench a rising. I watched the video with James Corden and Kanye on an airplane that Kanye had chartered. You know, and he asked him a question, and Kanye said, well, you know, people can agree that when a person is falls asleep, they're asleep. When a person wakes up, they're awake, right? So he also said, if someone does not believe that the person is either asleep or awake, they're the walking dead. This is the awakening. Just as plain as day, he said. And I'm like, oh, I sent it to you, Elder Lawya, the video.
Yeah, I saw that.
It just, it was the perfect time. It was the perfect statement. And if you look at that, it's like a trigger, you know, and you got to watch that, where he's not telling people, hey, and brothers and sisters are waking up. That's where we come in, where we talk to people. This is the conversation starter, to where we start talking to someone saying, hey, yeah, Kanye is going through that transition. I went through that transition, you know, and it begins the conversation with healing first, understanding, hey, you Israel. Now, what do we do with it? And then move forward. I bless the brother for doing what he's doing. He's not Twitch or anything. All praises to the Most High for waking up this brother and other stars that have yet to come to this realization, and those that are going through the transition. It's just a blessing, and we need to focus on this. This is scripture. This is prophecy. So bless you, brothers, and to all my brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
North and South Carolina, bless you too.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and that's a good point. He says it was a video with Kanye West being interviewed with who?
James Corden. Let me see. I think
James Corbin, right?
What's the? I think it's Corden.
Yeah. It's James Corbin.
Yeah.
Just put it in. You'll find the interview. I want to also put this out there because I'm getting so many emails and messages off of the beginning of After the Fire's Gone, the music video, and really are commending Amoth and his wife and his child in the beginning. It's Bishop Amoth, Sister Robin, and their daughter in the beginning scenes before the cops bust in during the end of the world, right? But I wanted to say this, but I not only want to thank them for their great work within this church regularly and their acting before that. They did a great job. I also wanted to give a special thank you because a lot of brothers and sisters, to let you know how great a work Amoth and his wife did. You probably didn't know that those weren't their voices, okay? The actual original recording was done in Houston. Since the brother said Houston, it reminded me of making sure I thanked the brother and sister that actually went into the studio to do the voiceover in the song from Houston. And it was, I know Micah Allah, the one maestro who did the music, but also I want to thank and bless up Brother Officer Maisha, who was the man's voice in the beginning, and Sister Awaria in Houston. I'd like to thank you, and I'm going to have something for you when I get to Houston to give you a special thank you and a hug for projecting and bringing that reality to life in the studio. I really want to thank you. I didn't forget about you, so I wanted to put that out there. All right.
It's deep because, watching it, I noticed it's like a Southern accent. I'm like,
it's a Southern accent.
Like a Southern accent there.
Yeah. Now you can get it, right? Yeah. So, but it all came together. You see how the body comes together?
Yep.
And it's a shame because I wanted them, because I'm like, there's no way we're going to be able to reenact the spirit they brought forth in the studio. I wanted to actually do it in Houston or have them come here, but time couldn't permit. But we'll do some other things together. Right. What a great job, brothers and sisters. I wanted to just commend you on that. I didn't forget you, okay? 662 area code.
Shalom, brother Elder.
Shalom. It's a good time right now, right?
Hey, I have to say this again to all the listeners that are listening. That Hebrew and Bible Academy is so important right now because, and just a quick minute, if you think about the kids that are going into college, they are going to school for a semester, and that's right at about 3 to 4 months. And they are spending about $30,000 to $35,000 a semester in the Hebrew and Bible Academy for 3 months. You can get it for $150. The knowledge that you will receive that you have never received in your life. I mean, breaking it down to the simplest, very easy to catch on. I mean, it is just that important. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, once again, to all the listeners, please take the time out to invest in that Hebrew and Bible Academy. It is that important to us and to our people. And just one more statement. This is a question.
Yes, sir.
Now,
and thank you.
I had a pastor to tell me that we're not under the law. Let me get this understood. This is a seasoned pastor.
about 25 to 30 years in. He said, we're not under the law, but yet he goes and he is teaching from Exodus 20, verse 1. I'm not understanding what conclusions does he come to saying that we're not under the law, but yet still you are teaching the law. We need intervention down here in Mississippi.
Well, here's the Hey, bro, hold up before you go, because the lawyer have something to give you real quick. And thank you for support of this Hebrew and Bible Academy. I know when you seen that scripture breakdown of the mystery of the Gentiles this weekend, this Sunday, I knew that opened your eyes, right?
Let me say, once again, Elder Lawyer, that gusher, y'all keep blowing our head. After a while, we ain't gonna have nothing left. We're holding on down here.
Hey, I tell you. And guess what? We had a phone call from South Carolina today while I was on the call on the way here. And a chaplain called me from a South Carolina prison. A converted chaplain in the prison. He says, are you Elder Rawchaa? I'm like, yeah, brother. Talk to me. He says, I'm a chaplain in the prison here. And I got some Hebrew Israelite brothers that I've been teaching here. I need y'all to send some brothers here. We have some people that's waiting for submersion. I'm not talking about some regular brothers in the prison in South Carolina. The chaplain of the prison has been converted.
Man,
woo! I pulled over the car. I'm like, what? I'm like, you are what? He says, I'm the chaplain of the prison. He says, I can tell your voice. You're Elder Rawchaa. I'm like, yes. He says, we've been doing some work here. There's some brothers here, and we need some submersion. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you Lawyer's number. I'm going to give Lawyer your number, and we're going to have someone come from South Carolina, and we're going to set up a ministry in the church. He says, we've already held it down. Come here and take it over.
All praises.
What? Praise the Most High.
Elder Rawchaa.
Yes, sir.
My wife, and listen, we support you. We love you all. We support y'all to the fullest. Once again, if it's anything that we can do down here in little old Mississippi, man. My wife, she's always telling me, I need to say something. I want to get in the chat, so I'm gonna let her say one thing.
No, tell her, come on in. Come on in.
How y'all doing?
We're blessed by the best. Shalom, sister. His name is Ahaya. And it's not the first. Hold on, let me put this in there. And it's not the first person either. Let's go.
I just got one thing. When I ordered my CD, because I did the download on the computer and didn't realize how, you have so many hours to do the songs. I just listened to the songs on the computer. I'm going to purchase the CD itself. Can I have mine autographed by you?
You know what? I'm going to grab the I'm going to grab it and I'm going to autograph it myself. Give me the ink pen. Let me make sure I write down their number. And you know what? I'm going to send this to you, sister, for all your support. Right? You in the academy with us, and word is bond. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Yes, we ready for you all to come to Mississippi.
Oh, we coming to Mississippi now. I love that Southern voice now. You know I was born Lake Charles, Louisiana now. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's about 4 hours from us.
Yes, it is. My mama still have that. She had that Southern slang, just like you here. Okay, let me have your name. Let me have your name real quick.
Yolanda.
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 Okay. Yolanda. Let me have your last name.
Kirkwood. Kirkwood.
Okay. I have your number here. CD. I'm gonna have Lawya link up with you and your husband. I'm gonna sign the CD and I'm gonna send it myself. Right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Be blessed, Elder.
Thank you for supporting the work. I really appreciate your family. May the Most High bless your home. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Shalom. And yes, I know people are saying about that Hebrew and Bible Academy, but you don't know unless you're in there. I'm going to tell you that right now. No lesson is the same. And then sometimes in the midst of us teaching, the Most High bringing understanding. In the midst of us actually teaching, another perspective comes out that day that was never taught before. So, hey, but I can't emphasize it enough. And it's not about who's teaching all the time. Where two or more gathered, he's in the midst. So I can't take all the credit. I'm just a vessel that's utilized and excited to be utilized in these days, in this time. And so when we're together and we're dealing with it, it's like a personal study. And it's free of theologian control. We're breaking our people free. Even when people try to say, oh, he don't believe in a virgin birth and all this other crap. No, you're not going to pigeonhole us into some Christian Babylonian theology. If you want to just try to act as if you know what we're teaching without giving it a chance, then there's not much we can say. Only thing I can say is, what bloodline was Joseph? Why are you focusing on Mary as if Joseph didn't exist? And you know why they ignore Joseph? It's because when you look at Luke's and Matthew's genealogy, it's Joseph at the end of both of them. That's why. And there's no person who ever come into this earth ever had a genealogy or a nation without a father. You don't know what nation someone is unless they come through the prodigy or the bloodline or seed of David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I'm not discrediting Mary at all. Mary is a child of Israel. She was also from the children. She's a child of Jacob. But why is it the Christian church has purposely overlooked Joseph? As if his lineage is not written, as if he's not written at all in the Bible. And the reason why is because they would like you to focus on female deities that were taught in ancient Babylon. That's the point. Why so much you can go directly to Mary, but not give us no scriptures on Joseph, as if he's not written of in the Bible at all. So what we do is we give you both perspectives and show you the genealogy according to the Bible. We also give you the history books to prove that there was record of genealogy while they was trying to push a virgin birth to uphold Ceramicus amongst the Roman Catholic Church. We give you that history. And then we give you all the precepts. And at the end of it, you come to a conclusion according to the word. Wanted to put that out there, right? You don't want to miss it. Who is Edom this weekend? Okay. Who is Edom will be taught this Sunday like it have never been taught in the academy before. With new biblical information, I went up in the attic and grabbed more of my Jewish encyclopedias. And guess what? It's on this Sunday. Let's go. 228 area code. 228, then 304. Answer this one.
Shalom, you're live on Blog
We only
Talk.
have a few minutes.
How y'all doing today?
We're blessed.
We're blessed, sister. Thank you. You have a question
Thank
or
you.
comment?
This is Shanice from Mississippi. Originally I'm from Iowa, but now I'm down here in Mississippi as well.
All right, all
But,
praises. All right.
I was gonna say something about the fact that when I moved down here, I don't vaccinate my children, and I haven't since they were 2 and 4, and now they're 12 and 9. And I was able to get around the vaccination law, in the states that I lived in was, Iowa, Arizona, and stuff like that. But when I moved down here, it's a mandatory law down here that you have to either shoot your kids up with the shots or, you have to homeschool.
Now, I was forced to homeschool. My children been homeschooled since January of this year because by law, and the nurse, the head nurse, or whatever they call it at the health department, she didn't even know the law her own self. So, I took it upon myself to look the law, and mandatorily they had to let my kids be in school for 90 days, until I decided to either shoot them with a shot or, homeschool. So she told me she had to get back to me in a day or two because she didn't even know the law herself and had to look it up herself. So they basically, go off the hearsay down here as well, with basically the laws and this, that, and the other. And, I try to educate as many people as I can about, the vaccinations and stuff. But I'm now homeschooling my children, and I have a lot of women that, they're scared to actually homeschool their kids because they're actually making it. In other states, they're showing that women go to jail for homeschooling their kids, but I'm going to let them know that, you don't have to do all that. And the steps you got to take, you can actually look them up as well.
And sister, what state is this again where you're saying that they're making it mandatory for child vaccinations?
In Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah, in Mississippi. Basically, it's a whole bunch of states that make it mandatory. But down here in Mississippi, it's mandatory. Like, I can't even get my children, no doctors will see my kids. No, not even the health clinic.
Hey, sister, this is what you
And
have.
the
Hey,
crazy
sister,
thing
sister,
about it,
sister, this is what you have to do. Okay, it's because they're using fear to push your children into these cancerous things that substance they have in these death vaccines. Okay. There's an uptick in cancer, and there's no coincidence there's an uptick in vaccines. The whole thing is we don't know what the relation to it is. We know Jesus didn't do it. So that's where we at, right? So it's like this, brother. I mean, it's like this, sister, excuse me. You have to understand what your right is, which your rights are, and your rights take away that spirit of fear. Our sisters are not informed, okay? There's no such thing as mandatory. That's what they tell you. Okay, mandatory only applies if you're looking in the barrel of a gun. Okay, that's the only example of mandatory. That means you die if you decide to refuse. What they call mandatory is not mandatory, sister. It's a mandate. There's no such thing as mandatory. Okay, so it's a play on words. It's a mandate. So what you have to understand, what are your rights under that mandate? Your right under that mandate is informed consent, which means you must walk with these people with wisdom. So in an informed consent, you're not saying, no, I don't want my children vaccinated. You understand? You're not saying that because automatically that puts you on the side as an enemy to be attacked. So you're not telling other people, no, I'm not vaccinating. What you're saying is, I would like to exercise my informed consent, which means give me your information. And I'll also parallel that with a second opinion. And if I come to the conclusion that vaccines are safe, then I will agree to do so. So but now under informed consent, the only thing you have to do is find a reputable doctor, nurse, or practitioner who's giving you the information on the cons of vaccinations. They're pro-vaccinations, and you have now you have informed consent, and now you're making an educated decision. You're going to them with information from a reputable doctor that's giving you the information to say that I need to pull back until I get more information. So you're just kicking the can down the road on purpose with informed consent, at the same time protecting your child from the deadly agents that's within the vaccine. But if you go there in what you would call a combative or a negative, try to take a negative stance, automatically the mechanism they have in place will attack and have them come after your children. So you must have the knowledge of informed consent on how to use it. So, and I have to go to the next call.
Right, so it's called informed consent?
Exactly. And understand, when they say it's mandatory, that's a scare tactic. You got to understand what mandatory is, sister. Mandatory means if I don't take this or if I don't do this, I'm going to get killed right now. That's what mandatory is. Okay.
Right.
So don't let them use these words. No, it's a mandate. Now, eventually, we know where this goes, where eventually, because we're not taking the poison and not dying fast enough, it may become mandatory soon. But it's not mandatory, sister. It's a mandate. And the whole hold up. And the last thing that I wanted to mention on this is you have to be as private as you can be in these circumstances. You can't make this a public movement, right? Where now they can see, you know, if you're looking to protect your children, you got to be as private as you can with it under the table and let people know, well, listen, I'm still dealing with my informed consent, this and the other. But if you try to make a stink about it or try to, you know, blow, you know,
get other parents together, right?
Yeah, now you can get some trouble now, because now they're looking to make an example of you. So you got to be as wise as a serpent, and harmless as a dove. If you want to protect your children. Yeah, you can't be. I don't want no vaccine. You're not killing me. I know what's in there. Guess what? No, sister, that's the wrong way.
Right.
Okay. So you look up informed consent and get information on that, so you'll know what your legal right is. Never get pressured. Okay. Never get pressured when someone says it's mandatory. Okay, that's a scare tactic.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
And I had one question.
Hold up.
One more question.
Hold up, sister. Hold up. You can hold up, because you took up the majority of the time for other people. So you can ask the question, but I have to answer it with you on hold.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, go on.
The Sentence of Isaiah, and that's a book that we're able to read, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I had a question about.
All right, no. Hey, sister, no. You said one question. Hold the other one until the academy or until we talk again. I'm sorry. All right. Can't do it.
Oh, okay.
All right. I have to do it in respect of other people who are waiting. All right. 340 area code.
Hello?
You're live with the GOCC. Oh yeah, but your phone is broken right now. Your phone is broken. You're sounding. The sound ain't right. Lord have mercy. The sound isn't right. I'm sorry, sister. I have to put your phone on hold.
Can you hear me? No?
Oh, you're a little better now. Let's try it.
Oh, okay. I'm by the window. Hi, this is Cynthia calling. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm blessed. His name is Ahia. Talk to me.
Okay. I'm still in the academy. I just fell off for a moment, but I'll get back on it. I just had to wait to get back on there.
Okay. Talk to me. Well, you called. Talk to us. What's going on?
I just wanted to say that I'm just so grateful for the experience, for knowing the Most High, and the other caller that called in and said that you had a question about first person and all of that. I know that Ahia is the name of the Most High. I was directed to you, and nobody told me that I was Israel. I asked the Most High, and the Most High told me that I was Israel. And I'm ever so grateful. When I first found out that I was Israel, I was nervous and scared to go out into the world, just fearful of, oh, well, what would people, think or do, or am I in danger? And now, over, I guess I would say 4 or 5 years now, being in the truth, I've realized there is no fear. There's nothing to be fearful about going out there. And things have just changed to where it's like a normalcy for me now and my family, where we go out and we're Israel, and that's just the way it is. That's the truth, and there's nothing the enemy could say that can change our mind or our foundation. Because it's the Most High.
Okay, where you from?
The Most High.
Now, where you from?
I'm from the Caribbean right now. I'm in the Virgin Islands right now. Benjamite over here.
Okay. All right. I'm just putting it out there. There's some people, just real quick, there's some people trying to link to our videos. There's this guy running around saying he's the angel Gabriel. Just watch out there online. There's some guys trying to connect themselves to our video, and what he's trying to do is have private conversations and lure people in who follow the Gathering of Christ Church. So, and I just want to put it out there. Be careful. There's this guy running around, trying to build some trailers in some remote wilderness areas. So just be careful. Watch out. All right.
But don't worry about that, Elder, because he can't shake me. I was baptized under GOCC, Virginia.
All right now.
The congregation AC. And then we moved over here. And I just want to say how grateful I've seen the Most High in our lives. And now I raise my daughters, I raise my children with this understanding. When they go out there, they know they're Israel. Yeah. And if we listen to the After the Fire's Gone song, like every day, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. All right, okay.
Yeah, I just keep pressing play. Review all the time. So we know the words, and we're going to get the CD real soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Praise the Most High.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Praise the Most High. I'm so grateful to know this truth, because all of righteousness is as filthy rags. I tell people all the time. And so for him to have revealed this to me and to my family, it has brought us so close together that we love each other more than we really ever could by the grace of the Most High.
Hey, well, sister, bless you, and you know what? I wish to meet you once we get over to the Caribbean and meet your family. So, all right. So bless you and thanks. Oh yeah, thanks for your support, sister. All right. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Bless you. Bless you, and thank you for being patient. I'm glad I kept you. I'm glad I kept you on. Thank you. All right. All right. All around the world, Caribbean. All right. 252. We're gonna go on down the line to these few calls, and then call it a night. It was a good broadcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hell Night coming tomorrow, right? What's the day's date?
Let me see here.
Lord,
30th of October. Yes.
Lord, Hell Night coming. Watch out. Watch out. Hell Night tomorrow. You have Christian churches with haunted houses and all that crap out there. Let's see if the preachers will unite against Halloween. Hell Night tomorrow.
Now, before you go to the next call,
what we got?
Someone sent me a video earlier. Now, of course, we're not going to have the time to play it, but actually, you have a rapper. I'm not sure how active he is now, but back in the day, we remember the rap group Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh yeah.
And one of the members, he has a video where he has, I guess, a podcast radio show, and he's breaking down the pagan history of the holiday season.
Yeah, is your
let me see if I can get it. I don't know.
Is your internet
working here? 1 second. Let me put that data on. Let me try it now. All right, there we go. Let me see if it works now.
Yeah, that's us.
Let me try to pull this up real quick.
Okay, that's us, man.
All right, he may have sent the wrong. Let me try it here. You can go
just,
ahead, but I'll pull it up.
X that out. Yeah, X us out. Yeah, now you do it. Yeah. So the guy from Bone Thugs and Harmony, in a nutshell, is breaking down paganism right now. Ain't that something?
So the name of the video, I didn't watch the whole thing. I caught some of it this morning, but it says Crazy Bone exposes rituals.
Crazy Bone exposes rituals. Go ahead.
Who's behind these holidays?
Who's behind these holidays? Ain't that deep? I'm telling you, our people are waking up. Right? That's why we put that, man, we put those videos out there.
That's right.
And we've been putting those videos out there. I know other brothers and sisters out there have been putting those videos out there. And guess what? The streets are talking. Israelites are back, folks. Watch out. The pagan heathens are in trouble. Let's go down. 210 area code. Let's go. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder Rawchaa, Elder Lawya.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Anita Eggleston. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. My husband and I have been listening to you for a few years now. We've also been a part of your academy. We've purchased a few of your merchandise shirts.
Thank you.
We just purchased your CD. You're welcome. You're welcome. And we just wanted to let you know that we pray for your ministry and we thank you for everything you're doing. I have 5 kids. My husband and I have been together for 23 years.
Praise the Most
And my youngest, thank you. My youngest is just turned 19, and he's very much involved in your blog talks, your Sabbath lesson, the academy, as well as one of my other children. And I have 3 grandchildren right now. One's going to be 3, one's 10 months, and one's going to be 2 months.
Praise the Most
And right now, I'm able to get my 2. Thank you. To not vaccinate my 3-year-old here in San Antonio.
That's right.
As well as my 2-month-old.
Good.
But the thing is, I just want to share with you real quick, because I know you don't have a lot of time and you want to get the other listeners. About 2004, my husband, we had some issues with CPS, Child Protective Services here. And when it all ended, all we got was an apology from the courts because they made a big mistake when they removed our children from our home. But it was a long, tedious process. But my husband started reading the Bible, and at that time, he was reading that we were Israel, and he put the Bible away because he thought it was blasphemous. He was like, "No, that can't possibly be us." And then years later, he ran into your lessons, and he started watching you, and he started listening to you, and then we became very much involved in the academy. And about 10 years ago, up until about 10 years ago, I didn't even believe in God. I come from a family who does not. My mother's Roman Catholic and my father's agnostic. So throughout the years, my husband was raised in the church, so he brought me to God. And all the times that he kept talking about the Bible, I didn't want to hear it because I was abused growing up, and my father actually used the Bible to abuse me. So anytime anybody talked about God, I was against it. I didn't want to hear it. But now, both my husband and I are walking in the truth that we are Judah, that we are Israelites. We've gotten our children to listen, and now our goal is to get our grandchildren to listen. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just want to thank you for what you're doing. I bless you, I bless Elder Rawchaa, your family, your whole entire ministry. Thank you for what you guys are doing, and I pray that you guys come to San Antonio.
Oh yeah, we coming.
Go to Houston. But
we're gonna be in mid-December. We're gonna be in Dallas, but we're gonna come into San Antonio soon. So, sister, thank you. I really appreciate all the support you and your family have given us. I really appreciate you, and may the Most High bless your family. Right?
Thank you. All right. I'm blessed. You have a great evening. Bye bye.
Thank you, Lawya. I want to say something because usually when the truth, usually when Israelites are spoken of, or when it's through us or others, it's out there by these pagans through some type of negative spin. Rarely do you see them giving credit to when an agnostic or an atheist say that it was through these lessons they have come back to the Bible, back to the truth, back to God. They don't even glorify the Most High through that part of the ministry and say, well, even though I don't agree, I would like to give some balance to our views with these particular churches or with this Israelite group or whatever the case is. You never hear them promote these positive testimonies that I'm hearing tonight, that they heard a lesson and through it they saved their mother. That I went through all types of struggles with the Bible, didn't believe the Bible, didn't believe in God, but when my husband found this, now we not only believe in the Bible, but defend the Bible as atheists,
right?
As agnostic. I mean, guess what, folks? I can go on and on and on and on with testimonies I've heard while in this truth, hearing this same thing, but yet the world is trying to downplay it. Christians and pagans and all that who would like to look at this awakening as something anomalous and wrong. Let me tell you, folks, the Christian churches were built to deceive our people. Okay, pagans have been pagans the whole time. There's nothing they had to change pagans. Only thing they had to do was use Christ's name to continue their paganism. It had an ill effect on us. The Christian churches really had an ill effect on us. And it's a key component in changing us for the worse. And I'm going to tell you that right now, because the pagans never had to change. They could continue Christmas. They can, the witching hour, Sunday, all that crap. Goddess Esther, rabbits and eggs and all that other mess they're dealing with, because they've always been pagan. It had an ill effect on us, folks. And I'm putting this out there, folks, because I thank the Most High for this time, that the fact that now we are coming to the knowledge of the truth, and it just feels good to hear these testimonies that are seldom discussed by the naysayers concerning this Israelite awakening. But I'm glad you're making these testimonies. I'm hearing for the first time a lot of these brothers and sisters tonight. I don't even know them personally. It's something that compelled them to come out and just celebrate tonight in righteousness. Praise the Most High. I love these testimonies. I only got a few more, though. I only got 2 more calls, and then I have to wish you all Godspeed. I'm well beyond the time. Shalom, 562 area code.
Hey, Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
Real quick, so I just wanted to talk about something that you had said earlier. You know, how a lot of people always, might be speaking about you or things that you're doing. And it just made me think that, us as just our people and the conditions we're in, we tend to forget, even myself sometimes, that the Most High is limitless in the things that he can do and use to complete his agenda that he had from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing. My brother, he actually told me, who prays the Most High, he's an assistant pastor, but over the years, he's come around to the knowledge and understanding. And he told me, he was like, man, the Lord is going to use things that we would never think that he would use to reach his people.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are talking about whatever they might be saying about you, man, let's keep that in mind, man. The Lord is unlimited. He's limitless in all things. He can do anything through all things. And the last point I wanted to hit on was this Kanye West thing, man. Now, everybody has opinions, including me, and I could be wrong, and I kind of hope that I am wrong, to be honest, in this instance. But when I don't have TV, I don't have any social media or anything like that, but, on YouTube, you see these services and things, so I'm kind of watching this thing from afar, not paying too much attention to it, but I see it every now and then. Just to make a long story short, understanding based off stuff that I knew prior to the church and then what I've learned in the church about the music industry and the things that you have to do to obtain certain levels within the music industry. When I first seen this thing, I actually thought it was a mockery, I'm like, man, this dude tripping, and he's mocking God's people, he's mocking the services, he's doing different things. And I kind of just shunned it, like, man, this is crazy. This dude is really tripping. And I still kind of feel that way, but after listening to the broadcast and hearing what you were bringing out, you
you were right about some things as far as, you know, we all don't have cameras always in our face. So this could be his change. He could be, you know, in the process of his change and metamorphosis, and because he's in a certain position, he can do these things and have these cameras so people are seeing. So I hope that I'm wrong, that it's not no craziness on one hand, but on the other hand, in my mindset, I'm like, you know, we know that, you know, what you're in your control. You can't just do whatever you want, even if you have all this money. They're on top of you. So it's like I'm battling within my mind. Like, when I think about it, it's like they're not just going to let him have that status and all of a sudden just say, okay, I quit, forget y'all, I'm going over here. Now, like I said before, the Most High can do anything. He's limitless. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just like, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't really know about it. But based on this broadcast, I might not pay attention to it, you know, a lot closer, but I am interested to see.
Well, it's like this. I'm sure they feel less threatened with him, knowing that he's being handled through Kim Kardashian. So there is a hold on him that's beyond his power right now. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes, but she and her family were outright they're outright public witches. And that's public. That's nothing. I'm not insinuating. I'm not, you know, guessing. I'm not making an insinuation here. They're outright witches. Okay. So I'm sure that you have to realize, as long as Satan have his claws in you in some area, he could care less as long as there's some form of control. So he's going through a transition, right? And if he transitioned all the way in his position, he would probably be, you know, they would have probably dealt with them already. So they still have a form of control somewhere. But still, what I'm saying all in all is he's in a transition. And it's clear that it's a spiritual phenomenon and it's a force there fighting for his soul. So I would like to quantify it from that perspective. He's not all the way lost. There's a spirit there fighting for his soul. And I just pray that he choose the right side, that the Most High move him to be used righteously. Okay? All right?
Right. Yeah, I don't see how you can be knowing one side. When you see one side in the operation of one side of the coin, I don't see how you can be all the way oblivious to, okay, well, if this side is activated and real, then the other side must be that way too. You know, talking about the goodness and the darkness. So
yeah, but the whole thing is,
I really do.
Yeah, but the whole thing is we only have our opinion and perspective, not living, not walking in any respective person's shoes. We can only hope. But me, I'm always hoping on the side of righteousness. I'd rather see the righteousness and the virtue in his transition in hopes that the Most High save him. All right? So I'm going to put you on hold here.
Right.
All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. 337 area code.
Shalom.
Shalom. I think you...
Hello?
Oh, no, I only got one more call after you and that's it. Okay. Your time.
It's nice to finally see you guys. To meet our people. We are blessed. In the name of our higher, Rawchaa.
You right about that?
We are God. We have been studying. The veil has been lifted. God has always been with us. He will never forsake us. He is our King, the Almighty One. I love you, God, so much.
All praise be to the Most High.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Man. Oh, man, I wish I had more. Yeah. Sister, we love you too. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion. And thank you, Elder Lawya.
All praises.
I mean,
Thank you.
it's a good broadcast.
Yes,
Good
sir.
conversation tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you remember this one here. When you do that, that's back in the day. That's before. Shalom. We love you. Stay strong. They call that the WAP, boy.
Yeah.
That's the WAP. He's a WAP on it. Israel is back. Shalom.
Please give me